Malnutrition crisis among children in Nepal's Madhesh province. Officials warn situation is critical under WHO standards. Heat wave grips Nepal as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Weather department warns of continued hot days across the Rayan plains. Caste discrimination still persistent in Nepal despite strong law. National Dalit Commission urges stronger state action as complaints rise and justice gaps remain wide. At least 12 people killed in a fire at a care home in Sri Lanka. Owner held authorities investigate illegal occupation. Israel and Lebanon agree to renew fragile ceasefire with new security arrangements. Lebanon says Israel continued strikes with casualties. And Nepal cruise into ACC Women's Premier Cup quarterfinals after dominant win over Bhutan. Good evening, I'm Smita Gising Tamang and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in details. A new survey in Nepal's Madhesh province has found that nearly 16% of children are malnourished. The Health Directorate assessed 283,308 children across 133 local levels in the province. Of those, 35,883 children were found to be malnourished and 8,771 were in an early stage of malnutrition, while 233,182 were in a normal state of nutrition. In total, 44,654 children are affected, accounting for 15.76% of the assessed children, a level considered critical under World Health Organization standards. Chief Minister Krishna Prasad Yadav said malnutrition has become a serious challenge in the province, linked to poverty, lack of education, limited awareness on nutrition, poor hygiene, and an imbalanced diet. Health officials say the high rate is a worrying situation for the province. Temperatures have risen sharply across Nepal in recent days, with rainfall becoming sporadic and heat conditions intensifying in several regions. According to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, the average temperature, which was below 37 degrees 2 days ago, has now climbed to around 41 degrees. Meteorologist Saroj Pudasaini said temperatures are gradually increasing, with the possibility of hotter days in the plains of Madhesh, Koshi, Bagmati and Gandaki provinces. Officials say a partial influence of a low-pressure system and local winds is currently affecting western Nepal. A bulletin from the department said weather in the hilly and mountainous regions will remain generally cloudy, while the Tarai will see partly cloudy conditions. The Hydrology and Meteorology Department has described the ongoing conditions as hot days due to extreme temperatures across several regions of Nepal. With rising heat levels, farmers working in fields have reported adverse health impacts, saying the high temperatures are affecting their ability to work safely outdoors. A Nepali climbing guide who went missing on Mount Everest for 6 days and was presumed dead has been found alive after crawling close to base camp, officials say. Dawa Sherpa, a veteran mountaineer in his 50s known as Hillary, disappeared on May 30 in harsh conditions on the world's highest peak. He was discovered on Thursday morning near base camp by a search team from the Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee and later airlifted to Kathmandu. Doctors at Hams Hospital say he is conscious and being treated for frostbite, cold injuries and dehydration. His family said they have begun last rites prayers after losing hope and described shock and relief after receiving confirmation he was alive. Rescue officials say his survival in extreme high-altitude conditions is being seen as extraordinary. At least 3 people have died after a Bolero pickup vehicle plunged off a road in Rolpa district of western Nepal. The accident occurred this morning along the Shahid Highway at Biangkhola in Madi Rural Municipality 2. Police said the pickup carrying construction materials plunged down the road. All 3 on board died at the scene. The victims have been identified as driver Bir Bahadur Chaudhary, 25, Judan Chaudhary, 40, and his spouse Kamala Chaudhary, 38-year-old, all from Dang district. In a separate incident in the same district, 2 students have died after being swept away by flood waters. The incident occurred on Wednesday evening at Ratamata in Gangadev, rural municipality 6, when the children were returning home from school. Police say the boys were crossing the Kahari stream when a sudden surge of water and debris swept them away. The victims have been identified as 7-year-old Gopal Khadka and 6-year-old Samir Kesi, both students of Briddhi Bikas Secondary School and residents of Ratamata. Time for a short break now. We shall be back with more updates, too. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News, and now the remaining updates. Across Nepal, events were held today to mark the National Day for the Elimination of Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability. The National Dalit Commission has called for stronger mobilization of state institutions to ensure access to justice for the Dalit community. It says that despite Nepal being declared an untouchability-free nation more than 15 years ago, discrimination continues to persist in practice, with rising complaints and cases reported even in urban areas. The Commission highlights that many incidents never reach the legal system, reflecting weak enforcement and continued barriers to justice. While awareness and reporting have improved, officials say discriminatory attitudes, social prejudice, and institutional challenges continue to slow meaningful change on the ground. In Baglung district of Western Nepal, a long-standing problem of monkey menace has been addressed through lemon farming. In Sahela Fat of Baglung Municipality 12, farmers under the Chaso Farmers Group have turned barren land into productive fields through collective lemon cultivation, effectively ending crop damage caused by monkeys. Around 4,000 lemon saplings have been planted in the area, with production already beginning. The group, consisting of 52 shareholders, has expanded cultivation to about 223 ropanese of land. Farmers say that since lemon plants have thorns, monkeys do not damage the crops and no additional control measures are needed. The project, which has seen an investment of over 10 million rupees, is expected to generate strong income in the coming years. Construction work on the Gautam Buddha International Cricket Stadium in Bharatpur, Chitwan has resumed after being halted for a month. The construction company had suspended work, citing delayed payments due to a lack of budget release from the Bagmati provincial government. Bharatpur Metropolitan City said the project restarted after the provincial government released 90 million rupees. The stadium, which is 55% complete, is scheduled for completion by mid-January, but the deadline remains uncertain as per the contract terms. The project was awarded for 7.55 billion rupees, which is approximately $56.5 million, with a completion target set for January 2026. Earlier, the Durmus Suntali Foundation had been unable to complete the construction, after which the Metropolitan City re-awarded the contract through bidding. Time again for a short break. We shall see you back with international updates. A fire at an illegally operated care home in Sri Lanka has killed 12 residents and injured 6 others, officials say. Police said the owner of the Maupia Siwana care home was remanded in custody until June 11 as investigations into Wednesday's blaze continue. Authorities told a magisterial inquiry that the facility was not authorized to operate and failed to meet basic regulatory standards for elderly care. Officials said 11 residents died in the fire, while a 12th victim later succumbed to severe burn injuries in the hospital. 6 others are being treated for smoke inhalation. Forensic teams continued examining the wreckage on Thursday, where multiple charred bodies were recovered from the single-story building. Rescue officials said dozens of residents and staff were evacuated and moved to a nearby government school for safety. Cave rescue experts from Thailand are racing against time alongside local teams in Laos to extract 7 people trapped inside a flooded cave for a week. 7 Laotian villagers entered the cave in Jaisombang province, about 125 kilometers northeast of the capital, Vientiane, on May 20, before flash floods cut off their exit. By Wednesday morning, water levels inside the cave had dropped significantly as rescue teams continued pumping operations. Rescue efforts are continuing in the complex underground system as authorities work to reach the missing group. Laotian rescuers, local officials and villagers gathered outside the cave on Wednesday morning before rescue operations resumed to perform a traditional spiritual ceremony offering chickens and rice alcohol to sacred spirits believed to protect the mountain and rescuers as per their faith. Israel and Lebanon have agreed to renew a fragile ceasefire and establish pilot security zones inside Lebanon where Hezbollah operatives would be banned. The announcement was made by the U.S. State Department following a round of U.S.-mediated talks involving Israel and Lebanon. A joint statement said the agreement is contingent on a complete cessation of attacks by Hezbollah and other conditions. The 3 sides also rejected any attempt by state or non-state actors to hold Lebanon's future hostage. The deal comes after Israeli strikes killed at least 9 people in southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel. Lebanese state media reported continued Israeli strikes in the south on Thursday, with casualties reported in at least 1 incident. The U.S. House has passed a measure to limit President Trump's military action in Iran. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a measure aimed at blocking President Donald Trump from taking further military action in Iran. The resolution passed by a narrow 215-208 vote with 4 Republican joining Democrats in support. It seeks to require the withdrawal of U.S. forces or force the administration to seek congressional approval for continued operations. The vote is largely symbolic and its legal impact remains unclear. The White House has dismissed it as an unconstitutional attempt to restrict presidential authority. The measure comes amid rising fuel prices and growing public opposition to the ongoing war, which began in February following U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran and retaliatory attacks in the region. It marks the 4th attempt by the House to limit Trump's war powers, while a similar resolution has advanced in the Senate but is yet to face a full vote. Iran's supreme leader has accused the United States and Israel of attempting to sow division inside the country following what he described as a decisive blow during the recent Middle East war. In a written message, Mustafa Khamenei said the malicious enemy was trying to spread doubt, despair, fear, mistrust and division among Iranians. He urged unity and cohesion, saying such efforts must be neutralized through national steadfastness and insight. The message was read at a ceremony marking the anniversary of the death of Iran's revolutionary founder, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khamenei, held at his mausoleum in Tehran. Ali Khamenei, who succeeded Khomeini in 1989, was killed during US and Israeli attacks in February that triggered a regional war, according to officials. The conflict later paused under a ceasefire in April, though diplomatic efforts to secure a lasting agreement have so far failed. Mojtaba Khamenei has largely stayed out of public view since his selection as supreme leader in March, issuing only written statements. We'll see more on international updates, but after this break. The World Health Organization says it is closely monitoring Ebola outbreaks and response efforts in affected regions as health authorities work to contain transmission and strengthen surveillance systems. The agency has emphasized rapid detection, isolation of cases, and community awareness as key measures to prevent further spread. Health teams in affected areas are also coordinating vaccination drives and contact tracing operations to limit new infections. WHO officials say sustained preparedness and international cooperation remain critical to controlling future outbreaks. They also warn that gaps in health systems could increase the risk of wider regional spread if not addressed quickly. India is looking to strengthen its energy partnership with Venezuela as New Delhi moves to secure alternative sources of crude oil amid global supply disruptions. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez in New Delhi, with discussions focused on expanding energy cooperation and boosting economic ties. Officials say Venezuela has recently become one of India's key crude suppliers as New Delhi seeks to diversify imports and strengthen energy security. Both sides also explored investment opportunities in mining, critical minerals, pharmaceuticals, and the automobile sector. The two leaders agreed to deepen engagement across strategic economic sectors in the coming months. The meeting comes as India continues to recalibrate its energy strategy amid shifting global supply routes and geopolitical tensions. Turkish authorities have arrested 32 Afghan migrants found hiding in specially designed compartments of a waste tanker in southeastern Turkey. The operation took place in Diyarbakir and also led to the arrest of 5 suspected members of a human trafficking network, according to local reports. 4 suspects have been remanded in custody, while 1 has been placed under house arrest. Migrants were taken for medical checks before being transferred to a repatriation center as authorities continue efforts to curb illegal migration. Police say investigations are ongoing to dismantle wider trafficking routes operating through the region. Bolivia is facing a worsening political and humanitarian crisis as weeks of protests and road blockades disrupt supply chains and trigger shortages of food, fuel, and medicine. Major cities include La Paz and El Alto are experiencing long queues and rationing of essential goods, with markets operating at limited capacity. Roadblocks across key transport routes have restricted the flow of supplies, pushing prices higher and deepening public frustration. Authorities have called for dialogue, but unrest continues as economic pressures mount across the country. The government is under growing pressure to restore stability as shortages worsen nationwide. Argentina has seen renewed protests against gender-based violence following the killing of 14-year-old Agustina Vega, a case that has sparked nationwide outrage. Her body was found in a drainage ditch in Cordoba a week after she went missing, with reports indicating she was sexually assaulted and killed. The incident has triggered vigils and mass demonstrations, including the annual Ni Una Menos March in Buenos Aires. Activists say the case highlights the ongoing crisis of femicide in Argentina, intensifying pressure on the government to act against gender-based violence. The protests have also reignited national debate over public safety and women's rights across the country. And now the sports update. Nepal have secured a place in the quarterfinals of the ACC Women's Premier Cup in Malaysia after registering their second consecutive victory in Group D. On Thursday, Nepal defeated Bhutan by 51 runs, continuing their strong start to the tournament. Chasing a target of 114, Bhutan were restricted to 62 for 8 in 20 overs. Dechen Wangmo top scored with 39 runs, while Chado Om was the only other batter in double figures with 11. Nepal's bowling attack proved decisive. Rubina Chetri picked up 3 wickets while Riya Sharma took 2. Kabita Kaur and Manish Upadhyay chipped in with 1 wicket each. Earlier, after being asked to bat first, Nepal were bowled out for 113 in 19.5 hours. Sita Ranamagar top scored with 37, followed by Rubina Chetri with 24. With this win, Nepal remained unbeaten in Group D and advanced to the quarterfinals with 1 match still to play. Preparations are in full swing as Japan's national football team trains in Mexico ahead of the FIFA World Cup set to kick off next week. The tournament will feature 32 teams competing for the title. Japan's camp faced a brief disruption due to poor pitch conditions, but the squad still completed training in over 30 degrees Celsius heat. The 26-member Samurai Blue appeared relaxed during a 1-hour session. Midfielder Kamada Daichi, the final player to join the squad, is focused on Japan's opening match against the Netherlands on June 15. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder about top stories. Malnutrition crisis among children in Nepal's Madhya province. Officials warn situation is critical under WHO standards. Heat wave grips Nepal as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Weather department warns of continued hot days across the Rai and plains. Caste discrimination still persistent in Nepal despite strong law. National Dalit Commission urges stronger state action as complaints rise and justice gaps remain wide. At least 12 people killed in a fire at a care home in Sri Lanka, owner held as authorities investigate illegal occupation. Israel and Lebanon agreed to renew fragile ceasefire with new security arrangements. Lebanon says Israel continued strikes with casualties. And Nepal cruised into ACC Women's Premier Cup quarterfinals after dominant win over Bhutan. That's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries.
Where culture breathes, stories bloom. When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by.
Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Feva Lake. Boating in Feva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Feva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchre on the lake and fishing spice up the Feva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Feva Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Feva Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara, and nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas Lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa Lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas Lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa Lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Feva Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Feva Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarankot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarankot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarankot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places including Swarak in Sangja have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Feva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Khatang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times, adorned With a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudh Kunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudh Kunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudh Kunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ। म पनि पुगिरहेँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भएको।
आनन्द लाग्यो, मस्त लाग्यो अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन, जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो।
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudh Kunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudh Kunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudh Kunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudh Kunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasra Beni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nuntala, Taksindu and Sahasra Beni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dudh Kunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dudh Kunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dudh Kunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination.
Since childhood, I always like to go in a competition. Even I was in a high school. I done many competition in athletics or other things, and then I end up with MasterChef. I was winner of rematch in 2020 MasterChef UK Professionals. My all-time favorite, and I think all Nepali favorite, is goat curry and rice, mashu bhat. I'm from Karjanaha village, district Siraha. When I was very small kid, I started working for a family, and same time I was studying as well. When I was 5 years old, my father passed away. When I was very young age, for us, food was survival food. Till SLC, I was in village, and then I went to India for work purpose, and then I started working in a 5-star hotel as a kitchen porter. Then I find my passion about the cooking, because I was seeing the chef, very nice, tidy, white jacket with a white hat, and then I decided I want to these guys, and I became a chef in a few months, and then working almost 7 years, and then I continue my study as well, and after 7 years I become executive chef in 5-star hotel. In a MasterChef, I was cooking only Nepali food and introducing Nepali food, Nepali spices and Nepali technique, because Nepali food was never discovered to the world, and Nepal have a very good potential. The people never expected gundruk to be like this, and even wachipa, pite, burning feathers, chicken feathers, and marinating in chicken and cooking with rice. Also padam chal, that's a Himalayan rhubarb. This kind of things I cook in the MasterChef. I have also written a book called Ayla, A-Y-L-A, Ayla book. That's a recipe cookbook. During the MasterChef, I started Nepali cuisine. Before, I was working in a Michelin star, French Michelin star, Indian Michelin star restaurant. That was not my Nepali cuisine, was not my cuisine. But now I can say proudly, Nepali cuisine is my cuisine. Still, I am promoting Nepali food, ethnic cuisine, cultural cuisine. Like if you see, we are in a Mithila Thali fish house. Mithila cuisine is very close to my heart. That reflects Tarai region food to the world, and this food was never promoted as well. And opening a Mithila restaurant and promoting Mithila cuisine. Mithila cuisine is very healthy. Mithila food have fermentation, freshness, seasonal vegetables, seasonal cookings. So lots of things came into Mithila cuisine. So I think world should know about this cuisine. I really want to serve Nepal via food. This is the third year I'm doing Nepali cuisine restaurant in Nepal, and almost 200 people working for me. If you want to be a chef, if you are confused to decide, I think this is the right time to do it. And if you are studying in abroad, I think Nepal have a very good potential for the business in a hospitality industry, because Nepal is a tourism-based country, and tourism always need a good hospitality, good restaurant, good food, and good hotel. Now I'm dreaming with the open eyes. I want a Michelin star chef with Nepali food. Then any part of the world, I will be opening Michelin star Nepali restaurant.
I came from Biratnagar and am at a global stage on data and AI and finance. So I was born and brought up in a city called Biratnagar in the eastern part of Nepal. I was brought up in a typical middle-class Nepali family. I went to school in a normal Nepali school. I studied there until SLC in Biratnagar. As for my higher education, I did my undergrad in Australia. I went over to study quant finance at New York University. I did masters in financial engineering. When I remember my childhood, I used to like sports. Cricket was my thing. And I always liked numbers, patterns, logic. When I found quant finance, it kind of was a formalization of most of my interests that I had as a kid. I was recognized as a change maker. All I did was used mathematics and advanced computational sciences to create mathematical models to predict investments and risk, etc. There's nothing like that being done widely in the industry. As you see, it's a very recent phenomenon. That's how I kind of got into this spot of being recognized as the top 100 influential figures in AI. I remember this song, Hatne Hoina Dati Ladne, right? And that kind of is the embodiment of us. Nepal taught me to lead during scarcity. Nepal taught me to asset allocate when resources are limited, to innovate, right? For me, getting this recognition or being, global stage, it just gives me a bigger microphone. And what I probably would plan to do, or what I am always kind of striving to do, is use that bigger microphone to convey the message on what could be the possibility for tomorrow. I just am a medium for a lot of people here who have already been doing this thing for a long time. Nepal does not lack intelligence. Our bottleneck is not we don't know how to do things. Our bottleneck is infrastructure and policy framework. These are two things. And if we solve this, I think market is going to take its turn and you will see proliferation. Don't stop dreaming. That would be my first thing. Dream big. If you are persistent on what you want, and if you have clarity of thought and logic, you will achieve it.
I think like any other young people, usually in Nepal, the jobs were the primary intention of many youth coming out of education system. So even my family and my friends, they thought that I'm going to take a job. Starting something out in Nepal where the entrepreneurial ecosystem is pretty young, and it's very difficult in terms of many ways, like finding the funding, finding the suppliers, navigating the government offices. It's pretty difficult. And I think one of the most difficult things was to try to do something that no one has ever done before. So running an education organization that does research and also does manufacturing. So there was a lot of learning curve and a lot of failures in the path. My name is Pavitra Bahadur Gautam. By education, I'm an electronics and communication engineer. I worked in robotics for a couple of years. I always had this curiosity of building things, trying things out. I always had this experimental mindset, and that took me closer to starting Karkhana along with my co-founders. So Karkhana acts as multiple entities and ideas at the same time. So we are a research organization, work with national and international universities to do research on pedagogy, lesson plan design. We actually also work as an innovation space where we design these materials that can actually be taken inside the classroom to make science slightly more fun, slightly more experiential. But we also act as a manufacturing space where we manufacture these materials and make sure these materials reach into the classroom. But they're not only reaching the classroom as just materials, but we also train the teachers, support them to convert their regular classroom into more of a like a classroom of a discovery. And we actually align all of these activities in the curriculum side. So it helps students study their science from the national curriculum side, but it teaches them in a far more experiential format. We started Karkhana as a maker space, as an innovation center, but slowly we realized that it's not the space that's required for innovation, but it's the mindset that's required for innovation. And we actually wanted to work on building the culture of experimentation in Nepal. Currently, we're working with 250 schools all across Nepal in more than 35 districts altogether, currently impacting around 1,500 classrooms where more than 42,000 children learn science in a more hands-on, experiential way, where they're not only learning science as a subject, but they're learning science as a mindset. So we usually find chemistry to be one of the most difficult subjects, right? So for example, when we're studying in school, so we have learned about atoms and how atoms are formed. We know that neutron, proton are in the center, the electrons are in the circle, like they are in orbits. So we actually give students this kind of model where they actually form atomic models. And they can actually form hydrogen, helium, lithium, and iron. So they can form different atoms, but not only that, they can also understand how 3D structures of these atoms are like maintained. So they can actually build these things out in the classroom, and they can actually compare these models with each other, and it's a lot of fun. Being inside a country like Nepal and being affected with things like earthquake, instability in the government, unstable education policies and policy at large, being affected with issues like COVID, blockade. So I think navigating all these things in a country that is developing its entrepreneurial ecosystem and trying to sustain the business in this kind of environment, I think you're largely firefighting every day. I hope to take this idea beyond Nepal as well over the course of the years. I think it's very viable in places in South Asia because we share a very similar socio-economic conditions where the science is still taught as a history lesson, as a subject that is needed to be learned to get done with the exams. So I think I want to challenge that idea that science is just a subject, but it's more of a mindset, it's a lifestyle. And when you adopt that kind of scientific thinking in your life, I think the life gets much experimental. Pretty excited about this idea that we might be able to solve problems not in the classrooms of Nepal, but also beyond Nepal, exploring places like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, where we think that we can make an impact, and in places like Darjeeling, Sikkim, where we might go out and use Nepali language to reach and work as well. Education is a very old process. Being progressive also does not mean being anti-traditional. So trying to blend what has worked in the past, but also trying to integrate what is there in the future. So we're trying to make sure that the learning is fun, impactful, and relevant as well.
together with his sweetheart. He sits in a golden cart, and a big lizard dressed like a wizard becomes a priest. And he says, the two of you shall not part. The two of you shall not part. The elephant trumpets and the deer drums. The raccoons shake their rat tongues. And his guitar, the tiger strums. And his guitar, the tiger strums. All of the frogs come in a parade, and the bears are in a masquerade. And the bears are in a masquerade, spreading their tails, the peacocks dance, and all the horses are in a happy prance. And all the horses are in a happy prance. A bunch of starlings make a sign of love in the air. A bunch of starlings make a sign of love in the air. But all the monkeys don't give a monkey's about this whole affair. But all the monkeys don't give a monkey's about this whole affair. When it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down. When it's a sunny day and the rain is pouring down.
la 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 la. La 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 la.
Well, welcome to a new episode of Creative Forum here on NTV World, where we bring achievers from different creative walks of life and celebrate their achievements, their feat. Recently, a Nepali film has been making headlines across the world for a historic feat it has managed to achieve in the international arena. Elephants in the Fog managed to win the Uncertain Regards section at Cannes Film Festival, the first Nepali film to do so. And it gives me great pleasure to share that we are joined by the filmmakers of the film Elephants in the Fog today in the studio. Let me welcome the director, Avinash Vikram Shah.
Namaste.
And then the actor, Pirati Pushpa Thinglama.
Namaskar.
And of course, the producer who gets it all together, Adu Podal.
Namaste.
Welcome to all of you guys, and
so
a huge congratulations once again to you.
Thank you.
With all the hectic schedules and all, how have you guys managed to find some time to rest or sleep in?
It's been so many interviews, so many meetings and everything that's going on. So I really couldn't find time for myself, you know. So and I'm still processing that what actually we have achieved, you know. I'm still, but I'm happy. Everyone is happy. My mother is so happy, you know. With that, I'm happy for sure. But you know, this the time to process, to think what I've really achieved, you know. So that thing that still I have to
it
process.
Still feels surreal,
yes.
probably.
Yes.
This musical piece that we just started with, for many of our audience who have not watched the film yet, who have not gotten to watch, in fact, the film yet, who are waiting, what piece does this belong to in the movie? What does it represent?
Well, in the film, we talk about the story of a Kinner community, and the community made their bread and butter by giving blessings to other people's ceremony, maybe like in some wedding ceremony, or like in some marriages. So they'll be dancing, blessings, and in our films, clapping is very important, and that's the strength of the Kinner community. So la 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 la. It reflects the energy and the joy they will provide for the family to bring more blessing for a particular person, like the couple, like newly married couples, or like the newly birth child. So it's a blessing and celebrations that we had. And creating an anthem for the film as well, because we did it very many times in Cannes, and then how people perceive it before watching the films and after watching the films means like it really makes sense, you know. So it's like kind of sensations for now, let's say. Yeah.
I think it's also easy to catch on.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we were shooting this song and dance, like after that scene, everyone was doing, you know, throughout. I mean, till the end. I mean, our sound recordist, he's from Brazil, so he was always doing la 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 la. That's crazy. Yeah, it's so catchy.
Yeah, and it's really feel very proud that we could represent our community. And one more thing is that the clap means not only for the, a particular part. We always do clap whenever we are happy or anger. But beside that, we always clap for the best wishes.
Pushpa, you are the heart of the story. Avinash, I think, has mentioned before that he knew the character was you when he laid his eyes on you. But it must have been a process for you to get into the role, given your non-acting previous past. How did the whole journey during the pre-production phase feel for you like?
It's been a tough time, which I spent. But most probably, they trusted me, and we got many workshops and trainings, which was given by our scriptwriter Sandeep ji and Akanksha Karki, mentor. and Sudam, yes, casting director Sudam. All of them was very, very humble and helpful. Each and every part has been, I mean, they gave us
guided you through it.
And we understood them, and we just learned and did work hard, and here is the result.
Was there a moment during the training where you felt like now you are Pirati?
To be honest, at first I was a little bit nervous whether I can't play Pirati or not. And the character has been played in my mind always, and I'm thinking, will I play the character? Will I justice her? And I always been suffering that words in my mind, and how to be creative, and how to be pure, and how to be authentic. As I said, the team trusted me, and I worked hard. They helped me, and mostly the teamwork. The teamwork was fantastic, and I built up myself that I could and I can do it. And really, the team was awesome.
And I think it also shows in the product that you're able to, curate.
And adding to her, I mean, the main thing was for me as a director, for turning Puspa into Pirati was, of course, those training helped for sure. But the most important thing I felt, now I'm thinking, was building that trust between, both of us, because I was always trying to tell her that you don't have to act, you don't have to act, you are Pirati. Because whatever Pirati goes through in life, maybe, probably she has also gone through it, or she knows some people, who have gone through that, because she is working in an NGO, in Blue Diamond Society, and she is meeting a lot of people like that. So just be yourself, and the trust and meeting, I mean, we
met many times.
Many times. I mean, to get her into that role, it almost took 2 years, right? Yes.
And the main thing is that what I found, Pirati and me, myself, is similar, because both of them are most encourageable and lovable person.
And you are a mother.
Yes, I'm a mother.
Yeah, and an actor has to be, so vulnerable, so, and to be vulnerable, it takes courage, it takes courage and trust.
When you reiterated that you are a mother as well, so it almost sounded like you have to go through the emotions, you have to have had experiences as such in your life to be able to portray that character. Is that so?
Of course, otherwise how can you play the role, I mean, for the director, for writer, there is some instances, where I don't have that experience, but I can relate to some other incident, to write or to direct the actress, maybe for her as well, That's why, this film, I chose Puspa, because she is a trans woman, and she knows, because she doesn't have to create something, otherwise for me it would be fake, through her experience, if something comes out, it's so, authentic and so magical and so connecting. It will connect, people. So that's why, she is mother. She has a lot of daughters. I know?
Yeah. You can see in movie.
We really are looking forward to the
everyone talked about her performance. Everyone. Even Anurag Kashyap, right?
Yes.
That was her.
Why the name Elephants in the Fog, and why the need to cover a trans story?
First of all, this, of course, it's a trans story, like you said, but here I dealt with a family, you know. I mean, when I knew that they live as a family, you know, mother and daughter relationship or guru chela relationship, that really intrigued me, you know, because most of them are outcast kind of, you know, people, because they cannot live in the society, or even they are thrown out of their home. Now they have, you know, a beautiful family. They choose the chosen one, and that was the hook, you know, genesis for this film. I really want to see how the family works, you know. Even though this film, like I said, you know, it's a story about trans woman, but for me, it's more about this family, the story of mother and daughters, you know. I always say, you know, to my friends and to my brothers, it can easily be a very melodramatic story, you know, and also very ethnographic film. But I really don't want to go there. I really want to focus on this mother's journey, you know. How, like my mother, you know, I live with my mother, and she is, I mean, when I went there for the research, I found same, you know, my family and their family quite similar. It's quite dysfunctional, you know. I mean, there's love, there's anger, there's hate, there's envy, but most important, there's love, you know. I mean, that love binds them, you know. So
it's a family, a story of any family.
Exactly. And about elephants, during the research, while I was trying to write this film, I met a mother from the, you know, Kinna community, and she told me a story about elephants and the blind men. And what she said was, you know, the blind men cannot, you know, really know how elephant looks like, because it's so huge, and they have to feel. They cannot, you know, feel everything at once. I mean, when they touch the, you know, the leg of the elephant, they will probably think it's a pillar of either if they touch, I mean, feel the tail, they will think it's a rope. And what she said was so profound, like, was the people in our society see us in that, you know, limited perspective. They don't see us as a whole human being, you know. So that was really, you know, profound for me. And there is one saying also, you know, the elephant in the room. What if it's a huge elephant in the room, but now they are in the fog, you know. I mean, and my job was to bring the elephant out of the fog. You know? It's the elephant, whole elephant, to show the audience, or the audience and to the people.
Anup, the role of a producer, it's mammoth. You're arranging everything. You're making sure there is creative space for people working, the hands on the set. Normally, when we look at the role of a producer in a cinema, have we treated the role in Nepali industry as much as it should have been, or have we done justice to it?
Good question. First of all, the ideas of a producer is somewhere not properly interpreted in Nepali film industry. The one who invests in the film is termed as a producer, but it's more than that. So the producer is the one who will pick the script or find a director, you know. So it means like the producer should have some creative ability to find which project suits for him to make the films or something like that. So I started as a writer director, and then produced short films, and then I started production manager jobs, and then started doing light producing. As I stay in Nepal, I really want to work in Nepali films, and somewhere my creative insights can be put, or like the ideas that I really wanted to work on, maybe as a producer, I could do it. So I was learning all the things, how budgets are made in Nepal, how the schedules work, how many talents are here in Nepal. So it took like almost 17 years to produce my own feature film. And I think like I did a very good job. You can ask the director or the cast, because I paid her very well. Did he? And the thing is, like, I take a time to make things happen. When Avinash was taking time to have rehearsals with actors, going to Bhairava, or bringing all the actors to Kathmandu and have a rehearsals, there is a creative process going on, but still like I have spent a lot of money for the logistics to make it happen, to bring all the actors. It was like 25 people at one time, and then 15 people and 5 actresses, you know. So it took years and years. And if I was not a good producer, should I have wait for all this year to make it happen? No, right? Because there are lots of expenses, lots of things to make things possible. And I think I feel like I'm a proud, and it's very unseen story of a producer, how they work, or how hard their job is behind the cameras, you know. So I'm very thankful for having me here and give me a space to talk about my experiences.
It's such a pleasure to have all three of you. Pushpa, right, building on it, did he pay you well?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
He did.
there we have it.
Main thing is that he just a particular person that he always says me that we need to be independent. So trust yourself, build up yourself, and really, man, thank you so much. He did it.
Anup and Avinash, you've worked also in another successful project, Lori, before. I hear you guys are best of friends in the set. Are you guys?
It's like I was studying South Busan, producing. I studied producing in South Busan, and I don't want to talk about since we talk about gender roles or gender neutrality, but still like the idea of husband and wife, you know. So the how a family functions, you know. There is a husband and there is a wife, and who holds the things, you know. So the relations between director and producer is something like that. How people take it. It can be husband and husband, wife and wife, or anything as such, but. You know, what I'm trying to say is like, there is a good side as well, there is a bad side as well, but we accept everything of us and discuss and make things happen, you know. Even for Avinash, it's been like, I even like, he was ready, I was not ready in many ways. So I took my years, like 2-3 years for myself to have a financing in the films. And even Avinash, I gave him a time to have like, rewrite the script, work with the actors, castings. I took a time, so it's like mutual discussions that we have it, and we always fight. We look very close to each other, but have a little of rivalry because we have been working together for like 17 years, a long time collaborations, and if we don't have this sides of us, you know, good, bad, evil sides or ugly sides, we couldn't come along this long journey. So I produced a couple of short films as well, which went to good film festivals. But Cannes is the one where our work highlighted. That's what I can say.
And
so.
for me, you know, the kind of film that I want to make as a director, as a writer, it's not the mainstream film that's you know. That's going on here, but the trust that that he gave to the kind of films that I want to make is always super.
Yeah.
So
our first work is to find good story or talk about some stories or something like that, and then we'll think about let's make about a film about it or something.
So while there are creative differences, you are complementary roles for each other. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
A marvelous feat at Cannes Film Festival. I wonder what criteria you evaluated, maybe Avinash can answer this, when putting out your film or sending your film to festivals. There are festivals in Nepal as well.
The first thing is Cannes is considered as one of the biggest film festivals in the world. Number one is that. Second, I'm self-taught filmmaker, and I watched films that has been selected in Cannes, at Cannes, and they discovered those directors, the directors I love. I mean, most of the film went to Cannes. So second reason is that. And the third one is to sell the film. Cannes is the must. I mean, they have this huge market, and you can actually, the festival is like not just to show your film. The foremost idea is how to sell your film, to different part of the world. So the other reason is that. So first is it's the biggest film festival, and they really treat you, really good. The kind of feeling that I hope in Nepal I should have I should have got, that I received in Cannes. But now I'm happy that everyone is talking about this film, talking about us, and it's really good. But there I received that thing when our short film was there, and the other thing is our short film was sold in many places. So it really, I mean, for those reasons, I think
it also felt like a continuation, perhaps, for you.
Yeah, and since I was, they think they discovered me, my film. So yeah, they want to see more of my work. So yeah, and maybe it became, I don't know if I should say easier or something. Maybe they watched my film very curiously because I was there with the short film, and they want me to continue in the festival. Maybe another reason is that as well.
Yeah.
What goes into the criteria when considering whether to send to one festival or the other?
Okay, a good question again. It's the 79th edition of CAT, and they have tremendous success and impressed many filmmakers from the world. As a filmmaker, myself, or a student myself, when I started to learn filmmaking, we used to watch a lot of film from the world. We used to understand how films are going, and we talk about like there were certain kind of revolutions going on, and France was leading many revolutions in cinemas, like new wave cinemas. So it has a very great impact on me, and the wonderful director that I know, they have screened their film in Cannes. And as a film student back then, it was a dream to have a film in Cannes. That's the prestige they have it from the beginning, because they start the festivals right after Second World War, I can say that. And that's the momentum they create as a cinema files or as a artist or something. So it's a very huge platform for all the artists who celebrate art or cinemas. So it has a very great impact. And then and what I felt as a producer is like it's a very good space to have a world premiere. World premiere is one place where you can only have one. Okay, and as a producer, my somewhere my greediness, I can say that I want to have there, and it will be easier to sell the film. And it has a very huge market called marché du film. And there are lots of distributors coming across the world to buy best one.
So and one more thing that I want to add is, when I was there, after the screening, and there were a lot of people, cheering for us, and one place is that Cannes is the film festival, so political, and I was thinking, like, the woman that I was dealing with in this film, the trans woman, their lives and the life in Cannes, I mean, all the European, the best ones, I mean, with this glaze and glamour and red carpet and everything, the important thing that I felt was the story that I wanted to tell, That's the best place, because it's being seen, Our story is being visible all around the world. So that's the most important thing, I think, for us. Reach, exactly. For us to premiere in Cannes.
Nepal also had a pavilion at the Cannes this year. Any one of you can answer this. How effective do you think the step was?
I mean, it's always good to have our country's, pavilion there. But again, like I said, it's just a baby step from us. I mean, there's a very small pavilion, but I have seen the pavilion, the big ones from India, from Switzerland, from Germany. We have a very small one there. So, but like I said, maybe we can, bring the big one in later years and, invite more people. So, yeah.
It's a step forward.
It's a step forward for sure.
I want to come to Anup now. Governments of South Korea, for instance, and Iran as well, they invest in film industry relatively higher and well enough to solidify the sector itself. How have you viewed government investment here in Nepal?
I think still the impact of cinemas is not evaluated or understand by our government yet. What can cinemas make changes in the life of many people over here, or what can it what it can take from the countries to the international platforms. We have not evaluated it, and we have not understand the impact of it. For me, as I studied in South Korea, they have lots of things, and they progressed quite heavily after 2000. The status of Nepali films and South Korea back then was kind of similar. So when government is aware of cinemas, and when a government is aware of protecting the arts and artists, and then only art flourish. So I think the conversations and discussions are going on with new ministers, and recently people are talking about new film bill that is supposed to pass, but they have some kind of questions going around. And with the impact of even Elephants in the Fog recently has just realized, what can be done in coming years. And for me as a producer, how Nepali film can progress is if government has more interest in producing films, like providing some grants for development or productions fund or post-production fund, or helping filmmakers. Like I need support to release Nepal Elephants in the Fog in Nepal, and I need support from Film Development Board for distributions. So if they are very serious enough to handle all these things, we can earn revenue at first. And the money will automatically go to the government. If they spend money, means like a certain percentage will be there for them. So and we have we keep on paying taxes, and I don't know where our tax money are going from film development boards. I don't think doing different stops like trainings, which might not be required sometimes, and spending the money over there rather than investing in some short films or some script or something like that. So the conversation is coming here because no one has taken film seriously. Although we have a history of almost 60 years now, no one has taken cinema seriously, and this is a prime time. And I'm very happy we have having these conversations, and many young filmmakers are aware of the government, that government should be there to help them around.
We can be hopeful. Avinash, when we talk about films that goes to festivals like these, there is a general understanding that the type of film made for festivals and the type of film made for the general audience are different. Do you think so?
Festival actually receive hundreds of films, like they call it, art film. I mean, whatever films that from Nepal, even from Nepal, there are many films, they have been submitting, and they call it, it's art film, very slow burn kind of film. But then, with this project, Elephants in the Fog, I really don't want that boundary, because this film about this boundary, we set, it's either this or that. We really blurred that, boundary, and because it's a very fast-paced film, and with the one of the genre is thriller genre, and it's kind of commercial film for me, and this film is just recently selected in Cannes. So the thing in most of the filmmakers, not just in Nepal, in South Asia, they think only this slow kind of film will travel to the festival like Cannes or anywhere. But then with this film, with the elephant, we have changed. I mean, for me, I mean, I think it was a clear intention for me, because the very first intention was, at least in Nepal, people see more and more people should see this film, not for the producer aspect, for as a director, because the intention of this film, why I'm making this film and what I'm dealing with this film, and for that reason, many people have to see, and if I make very slow kind of film, I mean, they will get bored. So it was my intention from the writing, you know. No, I have to make audience, you know, sit in a chair and engage in the film. You know?
Yes,
So for that reason, we have tried this, and like I said, you know, can't accepted that film. So it's not that only the art film, like you said, you know. I mean, for the general audience and the festival films, we have blurred that line with this film. I mean, many of, you know, if you look at the trailer of our film, you know, it's so mainstream, you know. So yeah.
We are all looking forward to watching the film. When will we get to watch it?
Yes. That he can answer.
We have our own distributor here in Nepal. T-Fox Nepal is handling the distribution, and he's one of the co-producers of the film. His name is Prachanaman Shrestha, and we during Cannes we announced our distributors, but we're looking for the calendar, and probably we'll have our films on September 1st.
Great, September.
Yeah.
I'm sure you are busy with this project itself right now, but what other projects are you exploring next? What can we see you next in?
Right now, I don't have any. I mean, I'm not planning for anything to do because I have to
go back to office.
Yeah, go back to office.
She'll wait for traveling all film festivals that we'll have it, and then her plan. I'm her manager now, and then she's waiting for Nepal premiere as well, and she wants to see how Nepali audience will react, and she really after Elephants, she really want to get into acting as well. You know, she discover herself more with the tools that she finds acting tool. You know, so.
Well, that's the another part. I have one plan, but I'm just thinking that I will do, but it will take time. Later, you will all know what I'm going to do. But beside that, right now I don't have any plan. Just going back to office and working as regular, which I'm doing in
that plan you mentioned is a secret for now.
Yes, secret.
Which you cannot reveal at all.
No, not now. Not now.
When can
one day people and audience will know. One day.
Oh, wow. I'm excited for you.
Avinash, what about you?
For me, I'm currently developing a new feature film, and it's an adaptation of a short film that Deepak Rana wrote. So I'm planning to do that. Let's see where it goes. But I really want to do it, you know, soon. I mean, I cannot wait. So that's for me.
Anu?
I'm just reading some scripts, and I am probably producing like 1 to 4 in 2026, let's say. Yeah.
As we've, of course, I've understood that, yes, this is a story portrayed by a trans character, but it's also a family story about every family that we've seen. But when it releases to a wider audience, what kind of impact do you expect to see in the ground level?
A first understanding to make this film is to have a very beautiful story of a very dysfunctional family where a mother and her daughters are living together, and that's a joy, that's anger, that's frustrations, and generally our daily life of ours wants to show it. And since our film is of a transformer mother and daughter, my first concern when I was doing it was I was very skeptical about how people will perceive it, or it will make money or not, or something like that, you know. But what I realized is, like, as a person, what kind of story I want to tell, it matters. And probably, like, it's a very courageous or a bravery to make this film and get into mainstream audiences or theaters. It's like, as a film producer or somewhere an activist in hurt, you know, if I can't do this, or if I don't bring story to the audience, then who will do it, So we took a lot of courage to make these films, and when we were developing the script, when Avinash was developing the story, we are not talking about any issues of trans, we are taking as a mother and daughter, and everyone will enjoy. And when they will enter in the cinemas, while they're watching the films, they will just see a story of mother through this actress. And some people, like in our society, there are people who are very transphobic, there are different kind of peoples, but the thing is, like, when they'll start to watch, they'll have empathy towards the woman that we are portraying, and I hope it will change some narrative to look after them or something like that. And since it's like till now more than 2,000 people have watched it in Cannes, like there were like more than 4,000, I can say it, because it was screened 2 times and world premiere, and we have three times we have screened in 3 times in big auditorium. And
this emotion you were talking about that you hope to generate, it was clearly seen during the screening as well. I think you had 8 minutes of standing ovation.
Yes. And what you have said is so important for me. When you said empathy, maybe audience will have empathy towards trans women. I mean, they like we said, maybe they see the community, the person, as a whole human being. So that's the
and also like this kind of conceptions are asking this kind of question is itself a bravery attempt, because we people, like in general, we have very preconceived thought about anything, and we made our perspectives in immediately bring our perspective without thinking. This kind of conversations even make people to understand many subject matters, and when people will watch it, then they will realize it. If they don't watch, then they will miss the biggest beautiful film ever made in Nepal.
I always kept in my mind and my heart that this project will make a particular, bring a particular change for ourselves and for the society, that they will know us and they will reach out to us and they will know our story. I haven't imagined about Cannes and film festival at all, but what I thought that is this project will bring us in front. Where we are invisible in our society, we are just fighting for our rights and for our health. That's it, and we are just in the box of this society. But this film brings us in a world stage, and definitely it works, and it did.
And it's going to add on and hopefully change. It's a long process.
Yeah. And one more thing, which is very important. The film is not about trans community only. It's all about a human being, and it's all about a story of mother and daughter. And I'm sure after watching this movie, people will realize
it's a human story.
Yeah.
Pushpa, how did you feel when the audience gave standing ovation for many minutes?
I can't explain. Oh my God, I don't have any words. And I'm really thankful to all the people who appraises us, and Avinash, Anup, and these guys are, oh my God, I'm just loving them, because you know what? Nobody dares to bring this story, this kind of story in front of the, cinema. And the people always takes us as a part of joke, and just a nachaniya type, and just a clapping. It's not about clapping and nachaniya type.
Yeah.
They dared it, and they bring it in front of the society, in front of the nation, as we can. As we all can see in worldwide standing ovation. Oh my God, means a lot for me. Means a lot.
Yeah, it gives
courage. It gives us for the visibility, encouragement, and empowerment also.
Yeah.
How did you feel during that moment?
I felt so overwhelmed. I wanted to cry, but I was stopping so hard myself, but I couldn't. And all those hard works, I felt like it's paid off. I mean, everyone was praising with the claps and everything.
Yes.
That was
Quickly,
amazing.
how did you feel?
I cried before the screening, actually.
Why?
Why?
No, like we have a protocol, and then we had a green room before the screening, and everyone was having champagne. I took my champagne and I was in the corner. What I realized in all this year is like I did a lot for the project, financially, mentally, physically, emotionally. I was so weak at that point, and then that day was a very big day for me because I am giving the film to the full audience filled with in the auditorium, So I'm taking out something from which was very hard to put inside me because I suffer a lot while making the film, but I'm giving it to the people, and then I feel like the film is finished. That's the feeling I had it, and I literally cry, and then I don't know what emotion it was. It was so hard to. Sometimes you don't understand the emotion. You are crying, but still, it took me. Sorry, it took me like 2 to 3 days to process the emotion, what it was, or something like that. So that was my feeling, and during the standing ovations, because I've watched another film as well. Like before I have watched it, and when you like the film, the claps and people cheer up, it really mean a lot for the people who are associated with it. It actually comes to you, as an artist, people are only like as a director, they are very very greedy of claps, not the money, okay? Like praising by the audience.
Means more.
Yeah, it means more, and somewhere of validations, that you did it. I liked your film.
You made it.
Yeah.
Very quickly, for young producers, aspiring producers, what would be your message?
I think as a producer, they should have a very good creative knowledge of writing directions or something good. They should be creative enough to handle whole things and understand the market, like how Nepali film industry works. You need to know people over here. So I think reading more scripts and understanding the scripts matters at first. Yeah.
Pushpa, what would your message be to your audience?
Just be a human being. That's it.
Wonderful.
Empathetic,
Yeah, in an empathetic way.
Beautiful. Avinash?
For me, I would say don't give up, because we say highs and lows. Here mostly it's lows.
It's lows, and
so don't give up. Eventually, it will turn yourself really tough to handle things, and it will eventually pay off. Don't give up, really.
Great. Thank you all for being here and for sharing your experiences. And once again, congratulations and all the best for the future.
Thank you very
so
much.
And namaste.
Thank you.
शादी के दिन में बाजे ढोलकिया सुना ए सखिया ना दुल्हा के सिर पे बांधल मौरिया सुना ए सखिया ना la 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 la.
It is no more the remote far west, but the wonderful west. Nine districts are in the far west province, from the low-lying Tarai to the heightening mountains Climatically, the province has all tropical weather conditions prevailing in Nepal. This makes the province a paradise for tourists of all interests. Khaptad, Badimalika, Api and Saipal Mountains, Surmi and Ghodagodi Lakes, Ramarosan area, Dodara Chandani, Sukla Fata Wildlife Reserve, Tikapur Botanical Garden, Amargari Fort. Dhangadi, the province headquarters, is the gateway to the state. The business hub of the far west region, Dhangadi, is becoming well equipped for political, trade and business infrastructures and other human resources. The far west region of Nepal is blessed with natural beauty. Any traveler is attracted by this epitome of beauty and a gift of Mother Nature. In addition to the natural beauty of the region, you can see the human civilizations rich in culture and arts throughout the province. The people of this region enjoy their unique lifestyle identified by their culture, language and religion. The far west region has the wealth of nature, culture and religious uniqueness to offer to every traveler. Khaptad. The Khaptad National Park, spreading across 4 districts of Doti, Acham, Bajang and Bajura of the far west province, is situated at an altitude of 3,000 meters above the sea level. The natural splendor and breathtaking views revealing geography's diversity is a sight to remember for every nature lover. This is the land of penance where Khaptad Baba lived for 50 years in his pursuit of knowledge and enlightenment. There are 22 Patans and the famous Triveni temple in Khaptad. The natural splendor of Khaptad area is attracting many domestic and foreign tourists by the day. Trekking in the Khaptad region is a lifetime experience, especially with the numerous species of birds, wildlife, flora and fauna in the numerous trails. Khaptad is the meeting point of 4 districts, Doti, Acham, Bazan and Basura, a chaste land of Khaptad Baba, an important place for religious tourism. Special prayers and worship are offered in the place during the famous Dasara fair. Some of the major attractions in the region: Badimalika. Situated 4,200 meters above the sea level, Badimalika is a famous religious site in remote Bajura district of the far west province. The annual fair on the occasion of Janai Purnima draws thousands of devotees at the Badi Malika temple. Lush green meadows, pure waterfalls, and whistling ravines flowing downstream are the major attractions of the natural wonder. Thousands of domestic and foreign tourists flock the temple every year during the fair and other times as well. Badi Malika is popular among people in the far west and Karnali provinces. However, few people from Kathmandu and Gadwal of India also visit this site for pilgrimage. The famous pilgrimage site in Bajura district of Far West province, Badi Malika. There is a popular belief that offering worship to deity Badi Malika fulfills one's wishes. Large fair takes place every year on Janai Purnima. The Badi Malika temple on top of a hill. The 22 patans, various species of flowers, panoramic view of the mountain range. Only a few small tea shops are seen as amenities in this area. One can reach Badi Malika by taking a flight from Nepalganj to Kolti airport of Bajura. Day-long drive from Kolti followed by 3 days of walk. Suklafata. Suklafata National Park is a world-famous destination for those interested in wildlife. The main attraction of the park is the large grassy meadows where the barasingas are seen in big numbers. The flock in the park is said to be the largest in the world. The park is home to 46 mammals, including endangered Bengal tiger, elephant, and anjir, and over 423 species of birds. The national park offers elephant ride and jungle safari to tourists as major recreational activities. The national park along Nepal-India border in Kanchanpur district is famous for watching wild elephants and barasinga, a heaven for wildlife enthusiasts. The attractions: grassy meadows, swamps and wetlands. Ramaroshan, located in Acham district of Nepal at an altitude of 2500 meters above the sea level. Ramaroshan is a jewel for tourists in the Far West province. A place having 18 patch of meadows, locally known as Patans, is a major tourism destination. The beautiful Ramaroshan Lake is the major attraction for tourists here. This area is the only habitat of national bird of Nepal, Daffy, or the Lophophorus. The rhododendron forest along the trails leading to the lake rejuvenates every traveler. Amargadi Fort. Amargadi Fort is a historic castle in Amargadi municipality of Danildura. This fort is an important site of historical, archaeological, political, religious, social and cultural aspect. The fort that witnessed the bravery of Kaji Amar Singh Thapa in the unification campaign of Nepal is strategically located at the top of a hill in the district headquarters of Dadildura. General Thapa established his administrative headquarters in the fort itself during the unification campaign. This is an interesting site for researchers and archaeological explorers. Mostly domestic and Indian tourists visit this fort. The Far West province has dozens of existing and new tourism destinations. From a breathtaking mountain range to famous temples, the province has tourism destinations for all types of travelers to engage them for even a month. As many tourism destinations are in Far West province, so is the potential of the province. Most of the tourists in the province come for travel and research. However, lack of proper infrastructures discourage many enthusiasts. The Far West province has not been able to welcome desired number of tourists in the absence of the amenities. The number of foreign tourists entering Nepal via custom points in the Far West province has seen some increment of late. But most of them hardly spend a day or two there. After entering Nepal from Kailali or Kanchanpur, most of the tourists head towards the east for capital Kathmandu or Pokhara or some other destinations. After the centralized system of governance changed to federalism, the possibilities of development has increased with the full authority now in local levels. One immediate such possibility is the trekking trail. If only the 5 proposed tourism corridors, Khakrola, Tikapur, Karnali, Badimalika, Khutia, Bipinagar, Tel Lake, Khaptar, Dhangadi, Budar, Saipal, Mahakali River and Jhulaghat, Mursa can be developed as per provincial government's plan. It could contribute to the national mission of prosperity through tourism. Many other destinations can be developed into touristic sites to welcome domestic as well as foreign tourists. The artist's geography might be discouraging, but the nature has blessed the region with glory. This is why tourism can be the base for prosperity for Far West province. It is no more the remote Far West, but the wonderful West.
Good evening and welcome to Business World. I am Siksha Bhattrai. This week, concerns over slowing global growth, rising trade tensions, and higher energy costs are reshaping the economic outlook. At the same time, artificial intelligence is driving a new wave of investment and competition across industries, from computing and manufacturing to agriculture and space technology. We also look at major developments in energy security, e-commerce regulation, transportation, and the growing challenges posed by illegal mining and supply chain disruptions. Here are the top international business stories of the week. The global economy is facing renewed uncertainty as rising energy and fertilizer costs linked to tensions in the Middle East threaten growth prospects. The OECD warns that higher inflation and weaker growth could create fresh challenges for businesses, consumers, and government worldwide. The economic impact of the Middle East conflict is increasingly being felt across the globe. The OECD has warned that higher energy and fertilizer prices are set to slow economic growth and push inflation higher in 2026, even if the conflict eases in the coming months. The organization says prolonged disruptions could trigger a much deeper slowdown, raising the risk of recession in several countries and placing added pressure on households, businesses, and developing economies worldwide.
Our central projection, the relatively more time-limited disruption scenario, assumes energy prices evolve broadly in line with futures markets as of 26 May, with oil averaging $92 US per barrel this year and $80 next year. We project global growth of 2.8% this year and 3.1% next year, compared to 3.4% last year. That is 0.4 percentage points lower for 2026 than we projected in February, before the conflict escalated.
The United States has proposed a new tariff on import from dozens of countries, raising concerns about the future of global trade. The measures could affect supply chains, increase costs for businesses, and add pressure to international economic relations. The United States has announced new tariffs of 10 to 12.5% on imports from dozens of countries, citing concerns over forced labor in global supply chains. The measures target nearly 60 trading partners, including the UK, European Union, Canada, India, and Japan, which together account for almost all US imports. Washington says the move is aimed at protecting American workers from unfair competition linked to goods products with forced labor. Several countries have rejected the allegations, calling the tariffs unjustified, while others say they are already taking action. Intel has welcomed fresh competition from NVIDIA in the personal computer chip market, calling it a positive development as artificial intelligence opens new opportunities. The comments came after NVIDIA unveiled a new window-focused chip designed to power AI agents capable of performing complex tasks for users. The move is seen as a challenge to established chip makers, including Intel and AMD. The global race to build artificial intelligence infrastructure is accelerating as companies invest billions in new computing capacity. SoftBank's major investment in France is expected to strengthen Europe's position in the rapidly growing AI sector.
Japan's SoftBank Group will invest 45 billion euros over the next 5 years in a push to build up artificial intelligence infrastructure in France, the company announced. SoftBank said the investment, described as the biggest of its kind so far in Europe, would be made in the northern Hauts-de-France region and deliver 3.1 gigawatt of capacity. French engineering company Schneider Electric said it would be one of the project's key partners and equip the sites with its modules without disclosing financials. 3 sites are expected to come into operation by 2031.
The space industry continues to attract major investment as governments expand their defense and security capabilities. SpaceX has secured a significant contract that will support the development of advanced satellite-based tracking systems.
The United States is expanding its space-based missile defense capabilities with a new multi-billion-dollar satellite contract awarded to SpaceX. The U.S. Space Force announced a $4.16 billion deal for a satellite network designed to detect, track, and help target airborne threats as part of the Pentagon's broader defense strategy. The satellites are expected to support the Trump administration's Golden Dome Missile Defense Initiative by providing advanced space space-based sensing and tracking capabilities. The Space Force said the first constellation of satellites is projected to be operational by 2028, helping address critical surveillance and tracking gaps for U.S. forces. The Space Force said there are several companies in this SPAMTI vendor pool, including SpaceX, and it will issue multiple awards in the coming year. The award follows a separate $2.29 billion military communications contract for SpaceX to build high-speed satellite communications network.
China's automakers are rapidly increasing their influence in the global vehicle market, particularly in electric vehicles. Their growth is forcing established manufacturers in the United States, Europe and Japan to rethink their competitive strategies.
Honda Motor Company is recalling 98,892 vehicles in the United States over a defect that could cause front passenger airbags to deploy unintentionally, according to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. The recall affects certain Acura TLX, Honda Accord Hybrid and 2022 Honda Accord models. NHTSA said a front passenger seat weight sensor may crack and develop an electrical short circuit, potentially triggering airbag deployment, even when suppression systems are meant to prevent activation for infants in child seats or young children. It is said that Honda dealers will replace the affected seat weight sensors free of charge as part of the recall remedy.
Competition among chip makers is intensifying as artificial intelligence becomes a key feature in personal computing. NVIDIA's latest AI-focused technology is raising expectations for a new generation of smart devices.
NVIDIA intensified competition in the personal computer market after unveiling a powerful AI-focused chip for Windows laptops. CEO Jensen Huang said the technology would help reinvent the PC, comparing its potential impact to the rise of smartphones. Industry experts described NVIDIA's move as a game changer, warning that traditional chip makers Intel and AMD now faced growing pressure in the race to develop AI-powered devices. The announcement also fueled broader discussions over the future of AI hardware, with companies exploring everything from AI PCs and smartphones to smart glasses and other next-generation gadgets.
The European Union has moved to release billions of dollars in previously frozen funds for Hungary. The decision marks an important economic and political developments for both Hungary and the wider European bloc.
The European Union has announced the release of $19 billion in frozen funds for Hungary, marking a major victory for Prime Minister Péter Magyar's newly elected government. The funds had been withheld during former Prime Minister Viktor Orban's tenure over concerns about democratic standards, corruption, and LGBTQ rights. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said $11.6 billion will come from the EU Recovery Fund, $4.8 billion from the cohesion funds, with an additional $2.5 billion to be released as reforms are completed. Magyar's government has already begun reversing key Orban-era policies, including abandoning plans to leave the International Criminal Court and allowing Budapest Pride Parade to proceed. EU officials say the first disbursement of funding could be expected before the end of the year if Hungary completes the required steps on schedule.
Farmers in Myanmar are confronting rising fuel and fertilizer costs as geopolitical tensions disrupt global markets. The higher expenses threaten agricultural production and could add to food security concerns.
Myanmar's paddy farmers have started tending their land as the monsoon planting season begins, but fuel and fertilizer price hikes caused by the US-Iran war threaten this year's harvest. Myanmar imports up to 95% of its chemical fertilizers, the United Nations World Food Programme WFP says, leaving it highly exposed to supply shocks caused by the Middle East war. The surge in input cost is forcing many farmers to cut back on fertilizer use or borrow money to finance cultivation, increasing financial risks in rural communities. The WFP warns a 50% drop in fertilizer use could result in farming output dipping up to 15% in Myanmar, where food insecurity is already widespread.
Record gold prices are driving renewed illegal mining activity in Brazil's Amazon rainforest. Authorities and indigenous communities warn that the trend is increasing environmental damage and social tensions.
Illegal gold mining is emerging as a growing challenge in Brazil's Amazon rainforest as record high gold prices drive prospectors deeper into protected indigenous territories. Indigenous leader Bepjo Mekragnotere says he is preparing another operation to expel illegal miners from the Bao indigenous territory in southeastern Amazon region of Brazil, warning that repeated incursions continue despite past crackdowns. Indigenous organizations have urged authorities to intervene, citing the risk of a large-scale armed conflict following recent confrontations between miners and the local communities. Brazil's environmental agency IBAMA says it is focusing resources on the most critical areas but cannot maintain a presence across the entire Amazon. The recent Brazilian government has stepped up enforcement since 2023 by cracking down on wildcat mining and destroying hundreds of excavators and other equipments used in the illegal operations. But officials warn that the difficulty of confronting the organized crime in the region remains a major challenge.
Artificial intelligence is expanding beyond technology industries and into agriculture. Researchers in Turkey are developing robotic farming systems designed to improve productivity and address labor shortages.
AI-powered robotic farming systems developed by researchers at Ankara University are transforming agriculture by automating key tasks such as planting, spraying, hoeing and harvesting. Among the innovations is an autonomous planting robot capable of placing seedlings directly into soil without manual labor, described by researchers as a world first. The systems aim to tackle labor shortages and improve efficiency, while an AI-driven spraying robot can operate for up to 6 hours on electric power, offering a lower emission alternative with potential for wider adoption across Turkey and beyond.
From concerns over global growth and rising trade barriers to advances in artificial intelligence, energy security and technological innovation, this week's developments highlights the forces shaping economies and industries around the world. As businesses and governments navigate an increasingly complex global environment, trade, technology and geopolitical developments continue to influence investment decisions, supply chains and future growth prospects. Those were the top global business stories of the week. Thank you for watching Business World. Goodbye for now.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are two popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
Welcome to the new episode of The Hinterlands on NTV World. This weekly show brings together stories from the hinterlands of Nepal, takes you beyond the cities and highways into the heart of Nepal's rural landscapes. I am Rosina Rai and we will be leading you into this journey every week. Tonight on the hinterlands, we report on Nepal's Muslim communities' Eid al-Adha in various districts. School children in Bardia undertake dangerous daily journeys just to reach their classrooms. We also bring you coverage from Dai Lake district, where hailstorms and heavy rainfall have triggered a growing food crisis. In Baitari, efforts are underway to remove offensive and discriminatory settlement names. And at last, we present a detailed report on the slow progress in the implementation of official ethnic languages in Sangza. We begin with Eid celebrations across Nepal. On the day, the little over 5% Muslim population in Nepal exemplifies the social religious tolerance with a nationwide holiday on their major festival of Eid al-Adha. From historic mosque in Kathmandu to the densely populated district of the Tarai region, thousands gather to celebrate the festival of sacrifice. Vijita Bhandari brings this report on Eid celebrations across Nepal.
How does it feel to celebrate one of your major festivals as a religious minority? None other than Nepali Muslims can better answer this question. Constitutionally a secular country, Nepal has little over 5% of Muslim presence in terms of national population. But the festivities of not only Muslims but every religious ethnic community has gained national status and protected by the constitution. As the country rejoices in Eid holiday on Thursday, hardly a handful percentage is engaged in festivities. Also known as Bakar Eid, the 3 days of celebration is marked with prayers, family gatherings, shared meals and exchanges of Eid Mubarak. Muslims traditionally celebrate Eid al-Adha around 70 days after Eid al-Fitr, the festival marking the end of Ramadan.
ईद एक मुस्लिम का बहुत ही बड़ा पर्व होता है, जिसके अंतर्गत हम सारे मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के लोग एकजुट होकर मिलते हैं और गले लगते हैं. हमारा सबसे अच्छा और सबसे बेहतरीन पर्व में से माना किया जाता है. बकरीद में खास करके हमारे कुछ कुर्बानी के तौर पे खस्सी और तरह तरह के वस्तुओं जानवरों को कुर्बानी के तौर पे ऊपर वाले को जिस खुदा को हम लोग मानते हैं उसके सिद्धांत पे ये एक बनाया गया रूल है.
The festival also coincides with the annual Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca and is observed worldwide through prayer, communal meals, and acts of charity. According to Nepal's 2021 national census, Muslims make up more than 1.48 million people, which is over 5% of the population, making the religious community the country's third largest population. That community forms part of a much broader picture of diversity in Nepal. The country officially recognizes more than 140 ethnic groups and over 120 languages, with followers of Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Kirat and Christianity living side by side across the country. Researchers studying Nepal's social fabric often point to the way religious communities participate in one another's festivals and share common public spaces in daily life. That dynamic is also reflected in international studies tracking religious coexistence and tensions around the world. Despite the religious tolerance and harmony, some international think tanks have ranked Nepal into high restrictions category. This could have largely come up due to laws restricting forceful or unwillful religious conversion and proselytization. India and Pakistan also fall within the high category, while China ranks among the most restrictive countries in the world. But Nepal stands apart when it comes to social hostility linked to religion. On a social hostilities index by the think tank, which tracks religious tensions and violence involving private individuals and groups, Nepal falls within the low category. As families gather, prayers conclude, and communities exchange Eid greetings across Nepal, the spirit of Eid al-Adha resonates in every citizen, irrespective of their religion and ethnicity.
For many children living in Nepal's remote regions, attending school means overcoming dangerous and exhausting journeys every single day. They walk for hours through forest and isolated trails, often facing the risk of wildlife attacks, all in pursuit of education. Children in Bardia district face similar hardship. She is Samiksha Dangi, an 8th grade student from Thakela village, Ward number 9 of Bardia district, Nepal. Every morning at 8 a.m., she leaves home and it takes her nearly 2 hours to reach her school. Like Samiksha, 130 other determined students from same village who wish to continue their secondary education have no choice but to travel 5 to 7 kilometers through dense forest to reach Dharma Bhakta Secondary School in Katernia. Thakela and Katernia are neighboring localities situated near Bardia National Park in Bardia district, which makes the risk of wildlife attacks significantly higher. Their daily route is full of challenges, rough and narrow trails, constant fear of wildlife, and even greater danger during the monsoon season. Samiksha says that for schoolgirls, the journey is not only exhausting and filled with fear of wild animals, but also frightening because of encounters with intoxicated individuals along the way.
अब चाहिँ यो बाटो पनि कच्ची छ किन आउँदाखेरि पनि अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ एउटा कुरा त बाटो पिच पनि होस् अनि स्कुलमा सरले मिलाएर गाडी पनि हाल्दिने मतलब ढकैलातिर.
Every day, these students risk their safety simply to attend a school. This is their reality, as the local village school only offers education up to grade 5. Despite these hardships, the children remain determined. However, their parents live with heavy hearts each day until their children return home safely.
समस्या छ बाघ आउँछन् भालु लाग्छन् कहिलेकाहीँ पानी पर्छ केटाकेटीहरुको पानी परेको बेलामा हावाहुरी आउँछ अनि फेरि रुख ढल्छ त्यो रुखको प्रक्ष एकदम त्यो पढाइ पनि कहिलेकाहीँ बिग्रिन्छ.
The school administration has repeatedly raised concerns about student safety with the local authorities and the provincial government. Yet, for more than 100 children in Thakela village, the situations remain unchanged and their daily struggle to continue their education continues to go unheard by the authorities. Moving forward, a growing food crisis is emerging in the remote settlements of Naumule Rural Municipality in Dailik district. Locally produced grains are already insufficient to sustain families throughout the year. And the last month's hailstorm and heavy rainfall destroyed standing crops, leaving farmers deeply concerned about their future. Diksha Awasti have more on this report.
Jhala Thapa Magar and Amrita Sunar of Ward number 4 in Naumule Rural Municipality are currently facing severe hardship after last month's hailstorm and rainfall destroyed all their food grains and vegetable crops. They are deeply concerned about how they will manage food supplies for the entire year.
आलु बन्डा आलु पनि टेस्टै भयो मकै लगाएको पनि टेस्टै अनि फेरि अलि पहिला लगाएको भोल पहिराले पुरी र मकै पनि छैन यस्तै माटो निस्काएर बालौटा मात्रै छ गौमा हाते हालिनम
सबै बारीमै छोड्दिनु
खुर्सानी पनि केही पनि छैन
गौ कति धेरै गौ फलेथ्यो अब त्यसका कोठराली भराने बेला भित्राउने बेला खाने बेला त्यस्तोले लग्दैन त हामी
अब किसान गर्ने खानेहरूलाई त धेरै दुःख लाग्यो.
They are not alone. Around 600 families across most wards of Naumule rural municipality have also suffered after hailstorms completely wiped out their wheat and vegetable crops. In the hilly settlements, where agricultural production is already low, locally produced food usually lasts only 3 to 6 months. Now, with all crops destroyed, farmers fear worsening food shortages and hunger. To support the worst affected families, social worker Mahendra Chand, who currently lives in the United States, distributed 170 sacks of food grains after learning about the crisis in his home municipality. Chairperson Chabi Subedi of Naumule Rural Municipality said the local government is also preparing to distribute food assistance to other remaining affected households immediately.
छुटेकोलाई गाउँपालिकाको तर्फबाट हामीले न्यूनतम राहत वितरण गर्ने कार्यपालिकाको बैठक र विपद व्यवस्थापन समितिको बैठकबाट निर्णय पनि गरेका छौं.
After receiving food support through the Food Foundation in Naumule itself, local farmers said the aid has provided temporary relief from the food shortage. Every year, farmers in the hilly settlements suffer losses due to natural disasters. Locals say if the government implements compulsory crop insurance programs for farmers, it could provide at least some relief to those affected by recurring disasters.
Even today, some settlements in Sudur Paschim province continue to carry names considered offensive and discriminatory. In an important step toward social dignity and inclusion, local governments in Baitari district have begun renaming such places. Let's dig deeper with Suviksa Rajak.
Even today, the names of some villages in Sudur Paschim province of Nepal are uncomfortable to pronounce. The reason is that the names of certain settlements were given in a manner that was outright demeaning. In recent times, however, such place names and even the names of some individuals have begun to be corrected. This settlement, that was once known by an offensive name, has now been renamed Dhungeokhal. This is not an isolated case. Most of the offensive names in the area have been revised. In the past, the Dalit Society Development Forum and various organizations working in the field of Dalit rights had already renamed the names of some places. When the use of derogatory words in both place names and personal names came to light through media coverage and social networks, the government issued directives allowing such names to be formally changed. Under this directive, Patan municipality in Baitari district launched a dedicated campaign to remove all such offensive names within its jurisdiction.
एउटा पानेपा 5 को बसन्तपुर कुलडा भन्ने ठाउँमा डिमौडा भन्ने नाम थियो दलित बस्ती ठाउँमा त्यसलाई हामीहरुले अब मैले भनौं न वडाको नाम सिर्जन टोल राखेको छ किनभने सिर्जना भनेको एउटा कला हो कलाकार सम्झेर जसले काम गर्छ कला देखाउँछ आफ्नो काम गरेर कुनै निम्ति प्रस्तुत गर्छ बनाएर दिन्छ भने त्यो कला नै हो भन्ने हामीले सम्झेर त्यसलाई सिर्जन टोल राखेका छौं त्यस्तै विभिन्न टोलहरुका नाम पनि अब हिजोको दिनमा अपेलित नामहरु भएको हुनाले तिनीहरुलाई संशोधन गरेर नगरपालिका अहिलेको वर्तमान स्थितिमा अब संशोधन गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था देखिएका हुनाले पनि अब एउटा सम्मानको लागि पनि दलितहरुप्रति हामीहरुले उच्च सम्मान राखेको कार्यक्रम छ.
While Patan municipality is the only local body to have run a formal campaign including replacing signboards, other municipalities have also resolved to correct such names. Dogda Kedar Rural Municipality has made a decision to rectify offensive names and is currently in the implementation phase.
आर्थिक वर्ष 82-83 को नीति कार्यक्रममै हामीले त्यो कार्यक्रम राखेका थियौं त्यो योजनालाई र हामीले कयौं वडाहरुको नामहरुलाई अनौपचारिक रूपमा हामीले प्रस्ताव गरेका छौं कतिपय ठाउँमा छलफलहरु पनि हामीले गरिसकेका छौं कुन टोलको नामहरु के राख्ने भनेर.
Although locals feel a sense of relief after the removal of demeaning settlement names, they emphasize that actual physical development of these communities is equally necessary.
अहिलेको पुस्ताको नजरले हेर्दाखेरि त्यो अब अलि घिना जन्नक आफुलाई नराम्रो फिल हुने जस्तो लाग्छ.
कला भन्दै ढोंगलाको अहिले ढोंगे ओखल राखेको छ. अनि त्यो अझै बस्थे त्यहाँ पनि अब अर्जनपुर भनेर पहिला भन्थे अजोडा भन्थे अजोडाको अहिले तिलगाउँ रहेछ आज
While the process of renaming villages is underway, the revised names have not yet fully taken hold in everyday usage among the general public. For this reason, the government must also formulate and implement comprehensive programs for the overall development of these settlements.
Did you know that several districts of Gandaki province, including Sangza, are home to significant Magar and Gurung populations? Acknowledging the fact, the province government announced nearly a year ago that Gurung and Magar languages would be introduced as official languages for government work in the province. The decisions initially generated hope and excitement among local communities, but as implementation slows, disappointment is growing among these two communities. Here we have last report on this episode. Many districts of Gandaki province, including Sangza district, have a significant population of both the Magar and Gurung communities. In the province, the Magar community constitutes 18.8% of the population, making it the second largest ethnic group, while the Gurung community accounts for 11%, ranking as the fourth largest. According to the National Census 2021, Sangza district alone is home to 57,278 Magar population and 34,448 Gurung population. Among the indigenous mother tongues spoken in the region, Magar is the most widely used language, followed closely by Gurung. Based on this demographic reality, the Gandaki Provincial Assembly officially passed a bill in 2025 recognizing the Gurung and Magar languages as official languages for the government administration alongside the Nepali.
हुन्न भन्ने आवाज सुनिएन तसर्थ गण्डकी प्रदेशमा मगर र गुरुङ भाषालाई सरकारी कामकाजको भाषाको रूपमा प्रयोग गर्ने सम्बन्धमा व्यवस्था गर्न बनेको विधेयक सर्वसम्मतिले पारित भएको घोषणा गर्दछु.
The legislative milestone fulfills a long-standing recommendation of the Language Commission of Nepal. The Gandaki provincial government's decision to introduce these languages for official use was initially welcomed with high expectations. However, nearly a year later, there has been little visible progress in the implementation. In response, language training programs have begun in various villages and local residents are preparing in anticipation of the language being officially adopted in government offices. Padam Gurung, chairperson of the Tamo Yo chose the National Council in Gandaki province, stated that the government policies and campaigns should only be introduced when they can be effectively implemented.
गण्डकी प्रदेश सरकारले गुरुङ र मगर भाषालाई आधिकारिक रूपमा चाहिँ अगाडि बढाए तापनि निर्णय गरे तापनि अहिलेसम्म कुनै किसिमको चाहिँ आधिकारिक धारणा आइसकेको छैन. सरकारको तहबाट चाहिँ यस्ता किसिमको धारणाहरू प्रष्ट रूपमा ल्याउँदाखेरि हामी अन्य परेका छौँ. तथापि तर हामीले जिल्लामा चाहिँ गुरुङ र मगर भाषालाई तयारी गर्ने कक्षाहरू चाहिँ सञ्चालन गरेर तयारी अवस्थामा बसिरहेको अवस्था छ.
Many members of these two communities appear disappointed with the authorities' level of seriousness. Despite this, the communities are preserving their rich cultural traditions and are taking various initiatives to safeguard them for the future generations. Beyond the cities and the headlines, real lives continue to unfold. Stories are shaped by struggle, strengthened by resilience, and carried forward by the hope. This is the Hinterlands, and we will be back next week with more stories from the heart of Nepal. Do follow us on our website, nepaltelevision.com, social media handles, and YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye for now.
Annapurna Circuit Trek features in world's 10 best destinations and adventures. The trekking circuit is the choice of many trekkers as it offers both adventure along with mesmerizing view of mountain ranges. Arguably the best trekking circuit in the world, travelers get up close with dozens of mountains including the Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, Nilgiri. Annapurna Circuit ideally is a 14-day trek. The circuit passes through Lamjung, Manang, Mustang and Myagdi district, including Thorangla Pass as the highest point. Places including Thampus, Ghandruk and Poon Hill are part of this trekking circuit. The revered Muktinath shrine is also part of the circuit. Only foreigners were seen in this circuit few years back, but now domestic tourists are also flocking the area. If you are looking for a lifetime trekking experience, then pack your bags for Annapurna trekking circuit. Mardi Base Camp Trek, also part of the Annapurna circuit, is another alternative route for trekkers who can't afford time. Trekkers can be up close with mountains including the Annapurna Range, Dhaulagiri, Machapuchre and Manasalu in this circuit. This 7-day circuit is attracting many trekkers for obvious reasons.
A reflection of biodiversity along with nature and culture. A view of the silver-like shining mountain range right before your eyes. A chronicle of the rituals and traditions of Kirati people from creation to civilization and the present day. A unique tourist trail in Nepal filled with natural beauty, the Mundum Trail. Mundum Trail is a uniquely identified trekking route in Nepal filled with natural beauty. The trail is an excellent tourist destination for trekkers who want to enjoy the culture and traditions of various ethnic groups while observing natural beauty. The Mundum Trail was identified as a new trekking route with the aim of promoting tourism in Khotang, Bhojpur, Sankhua Sabha and Solukhumbu regions of eastern Nepal. The specialty of the Mundum Trail is trekking while observing the tall mountain ranges, high hills and beautiful views of the flat plains of Tarai. Since it is connected to the culture of the Kirati people, this trail is named after the Mundum rites of Kirat Rais. Various structures reflecting the culture and traditions of the Kirat Rais built around the trail. Large grassy meadows and yaks and sheep herds raised by local herdsmen highlight the speciality of the trek. Dishes reflecting the identity of ethnic groups like Kirat Rai, Sherpa, Tamang and others, local organic food produced by herdsmen, various types of vegetation and precious herbs can be found during the Mundum trek. The trail is a total of 107 kilometers long. Both domestic and international visitors say the rivers originating from Mahabharat mountain range, forests covered in rhododendrons, rare and endangered wildlife and plants, and animal husbandry by hard-working farmers captivates their hearts. The Mundum Trail, where one can trek through the hills with the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, at its head, is a precious gift from nature. It's a trek where one can escape the heat of the Tarai, enjoy natural beauty, reveling in the sweet sounds of birds and connecting with endangered plants, making the experience all unique. As there is heavy snowfall in winter, the number of tourists trekking and playing in the snow along the Mundum Trail witnesses a surge every season. The Mundum Trail is connected to religion, culture, rituals and lifestyle of entire Kirat community. Mundum itself means the Kirat culture, rituals and the daily life of Kirati people or Kirat knowledge. And the concept of Mundum Trail is also about introducing the culture, lifestyle and history of the Kirati people to the world, familiarizing them with the community. The journey along the trail, which spreads through uphills and downhills, offers close-up views of more than 24 beautiful mountain ranges. That includes Nuptse, Everest, Lhotse, Makalu, Kanchenjunga and Kumbhakarna. They all delight every traveler. The Mundum trek starts from Dawa Bhanjang in Diktel, Sakaila rural municipality of Khotang, and Bhojpur Bazar in Bhojpur. Most tourists start their journey on this trail from Chakhewa Bhanjang in Temki rural municipality, Bhojpur. The trek starting from Chakhewa Bhanjang is a gift of biodiversity, culture and nature. The trail is also a tourist area listed among the 100 must-visit destinations selected by the government of Nepal. Temki Dada is an excellent tourist destination near the starting point of the Mundum Trail. It lies on the border of Bhojpur and Khotang. It is located at an altitude of about 3,032 meters above sea level and is a flat plateau on top of a single hill. The history of Temki Dada is also linked to Kirati civilization. Temki Dada is a habitat for various species of trees like jamb, rhododendron and chimal, as well as endangered wildlife such as red panda, ghorol and thar. Various places in Koshi province can be clearly seen from Temki Dada. From here, one can have a panoramic view of dozens of mountain ranges, including the world's highest peak, Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga and Gauri Shankar. Apart from that, from Temki Dada, one can watch the sunrise and sunset. And when the weather is clear, one can even see the cities of Sikkim, Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Siliguri in India, and cities in Bhutan. The Kirati people perform special worship on full moons of Baisakh. In this area, precious herbs, locally called Chiraito, Majito, Tulo Okhete, Pakhanbed, Nagbeli, Ban Karela, Muse Karela, and Satua are found in abundance. Another major attraction of Temke Dada is the rhododendron. During blooming season, the forest in this area becomes vibrant red with fully bloomed flowers. After a hike and exploration of Temke Hill, surrounded by beautiful nature, one reaches Dhotre Deorali in about 6 hours. During the journey to Dhotre, trekkers enjoy nature's embrace, marvel at various rock formations, and relish the trek while connecting with the high hills. At Dhotre Deorali, there are arrangements for food and lodging for tourists. Leaving Dhotre and moving forward on the trek, various structures have been built targeting the culture and traditions of Kirati people to attract tourists. The Mundum Trail's construction began with a 35% investment from Koshi provincial government, 35% from Swiss government, and 30% from the local government. Along this entire trail, rest stops, drinking water taps, and stone platforms have been built for tourists. 15 ponds in the shape of a chindo, which is a traditional Rai vessel reflecting Kirat Rai culture, have also been constructed. This is a place where shamans have walked, a place of tantric power, and an extremely scenic area. Mundum is the name of a Kirat scripture. The trail is named after this sacred name. This trail, which integrates various aspects of Kirati civilization, culture, history, and life from Silichung to Mayung and then to Temke, and from Temke to Kualung and Tuachung, proceeds along the ridge of Mahabharat mountain range. Another special beauty of the Mundum Trail is Has Pokhari. Located at an altitude of 3,333 meters above sea level, Has Pokhari is a special destination that should not be missed during the trek. At the edge of Has Pokhari, a statue of Sumnima and Paruhang has been erected. According to Kirat Mundum, Sumnima and Paruhang are the creators of this universe. The gentle fragrance of various species of flowers blooming in the grassy meadows captivates every tourist visiting Has Pokhari. The rhododendrons that bloom in season in the Has Pokhari area make one feel like staying in the vicinity of the pond forever. During their journey to Has Pokhari, travelers can observe at least 16 species of rhododendrons that bloom during the spring season. Another important destination of the Mundum Trail is Mayung Dada. Located in Temke Mayung Rural Municipality of Bhojpur, Mayung Dada is a beautiful place with tourism potential. The journey to Mayung Dada, which is at an altitude of about 3,600 meters above sea level, takes place through the middle of a very smooth meadow. During this journey, any tourist with the melodious sound of music wishes to be immersed in the glory of beautiful nature, even if for a short while. The Mayung area is also a special observation point for horses. The attraction of horses roaming freely under the open sky is another unmissable feature of Mayung Dada. The Mayung area, which is connected to the neighboring district of Khotang, has a balanced climate, not as cold as the Himalayas, nor as hot as the Tarai. The Mayung area is also a habitat for the globally endangered red panda. During the Mayung journey, adorned with biodiversity and nature, one can enjoy the rhododendrons that bloom vibrantly across the hillsides in the spring. One can sit on various mystical hills and move forward with the cool breeze, mountain views, and by cherishing the natural beauty in their heart and soul. The blooming chap, rhododendron and sunakhari flowers in the months of Falgun, Chaitra and Baisakh captivate the hearts of tourists. The ever-changing weather and the view of the mountain range right before the eyes can make one feel a heavenly bliss on earth when one steps on Mayung Dada. From Mayung Dada, most of the hilly districts of eastern Nepal, as well as the high hill plains and villages of Nepal and India, look as if they are in the palm of one's hand, making one want to keep watching. When the crimson rays of early morning sun touch the mountains on the other side, the joy of kissing the heights is immeasurable. From Mayung Dada, one can also view more than 24 beautiful Himalayan peaks. This includes Charpate, Mera Peak, Nuptse, Everest, Lhotse, Lhotse Sar, Makalu, Kanchenjunga and Kumbhakarna. Travelers say is less tiring and also does not give one altitude sickness. The trail located in the Mayung region is considered excellent, given the Laliguras trail of the TMJ region or the Tinjure, Milke, Jaljale area and the Khapta trail of the west. On the Mundum trek, after passing through Chakhewa Bhanjang, Mayung Dada has Pokhari, Satobato, Laure Bhir, Rawathap and Salpa Bhanjang. On the fourth day of the journey, one reaches the famous pilgrimage site Salpa Pokhari. Salpa Pokhari is situated at an altitude of 3,400 meters above sea level and is considered by the Kirati people as their ancestral place of origin. Kirati people hold a belief that one must visit Salpa Pokhari at least once in their lifetime. Hence, during Udholi and Ubholi full moons, many pilgrims visit Salpa Pokhari, a place filled with religious faith and natural beauty. Salpa Pokhari, known as the confluence of 4 districts, Khotang, Solukhumbu, Bhojpur and Sankhwa Sabha, is a place of natural beauty. Salpa Pokhari is located in Dobhani village of Salpa Silichung rural municipality in Bhojpur. It can be reached via the Mundum trail, passing through Dikdale in Khotang, Lal Kharka and Mayung Dada. However, there are other routes to reach Salpa Pokhari as well. It is said that Tenzing Norgay Sherpa and Edmund Hillary used the route through Salpa Pokhari during their first ascent of Mount Everest. Salpa Pokhari is also a multi-religious center of faith, as apart from Kiratis, various ethnic groups, including Hindus and Buddhists, hold fairs at this place 4 times a year. There is a religious belief that people who are born unable to speak can start speaking after being dipped in the waters of this pond, and childless couples are blessed with children after visiting Salpa Pokhari. Silichung Dada with Salpa Pokhari as its base camp is an important destination for tourists trekking the Mundum Trail. Tourists who reach Salpa often make a return trip to the summit of Silichung Dada, which stands at an altitude of 4,100 meters. Specially considered a significant center of religious faith for the Kirati people, from the Silichung Peak one can easily view the Himalayan range as well as the flat plains of the Tarai. From Silichung, 6 Himalayan peaks including Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, Kumbhakarna and Mera Peak can be seen right before one's eyes. The Salpa Silichung Peak, the highest point in the religiously and touristically significant district of Bhojpur, is established as the tallest among Temke Dada and Mayung Dada. There is a popular belief that wishes are fulfilled after visiting and offering prayers at the peak of Silichung. Silichung Peak is located on the border of Bhojpur and Sankhwa Sabha districts. It is useful not only for anchoring one's religious faith, but also for savoring the unique blend of nature and culture. From the peak of Silichung, one can directly see Salpa Pokhari to the south and the villages of Solukhumbu, Sangkhwasaba and Bhojpur. The valley and plains formed by the Arun River, which flows through Bhojpur and Sangkhwasaba, can be easily viewed from this area. From Silichung, one can also enjoy panoramic views of the sunrise and sunset. At sunrise, a captivating view of mist in the Arun Valley can be seen from this spot. When the weather is clear, climbing Silichung Peak brings a feeling of heavenly bliss. The Silichung area is as naturally beautiful as it is culturally significant. In recent times, Kirat, Hindu, and Buddhist followers have come to regard Silichung Peak as a common pilgrimage site. A large number of shamans gather here during the full moons of Bhadra, Kartik, and Baisakh. Shamans in particular ascend Silichung to gain power and knowledge. The fragrance of the extremely aromatic bhairung, sunpati, and other fragrant herbs and flowers found around Silichung makes the stay there even more pleasant. There is a Mundum myth that Kirati people gain power from this area, envisioning it as the place where the world was created, starting from the hearth, the main pillar, the main door, the eaves, the flower garden, the resting place, and the final water source, while praying to their ancestors for divine power. Upon reaching this point, the Mundum trek can be considered complete for the time being. The Mundum Trail is an excellent destination for tourists who want to get close to the Himalayas and enjoy their beauty. The hundreds of types of flowers and birds seen during the Mundum trek make the journey even more interesting. The path is completely covered with the national flower rhododendron in various colors. Being a confluence of nature, culture, and Kirati civilization, tourists get to taste a sweet flavor during the Mundum trek. People of all age groups can undertake this trek. On both sides of the trail, the language, religion, rituals, and culture, as well as the lifestyle of 10 different Kirati-speaking Rai groups are vibrant. This region contains descriptions of the Kirati people from their creation to their civilization, their migration, various activities and rituals and traditions from birth to death. During this journey, one can truly feel a spiritual connection with their ancestors and with those who have passed. Locals have added new dimensions of tourism to the Mundum Trail. Along with homestays, one can also experience goat stays, which is staying in a herder's shed during the Mundum trek. Local herders warmly welcome the trekkers. This trail of indigenous civilization has recently emerged in the tourism world as a top cultural destination. Therefore, developing the Mundum Trail, an exceptional confluence of nature and culture, into a model destination for recreation and study for both domestic and international visitors has become a pressing priority.
Malnutrition crisis among children in Nepal's Madhya province. Officials warn situation is critical under WHO standards. Heat wave grips Nepal as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Weather department warns of continued hot days across the Rayan plains. RSP president says India visit focused on development diplomacy. Nepal's foreign minister Khanal bound to New Delhi for key bilateral talks. Caste discrimination still persistent in Nepal despite strong law. Commission urges stronger state action as complaints rise and justice gaps remain wide. Israel and Lebanon agree to renew fragile ceasefire with new security arrangements. Lebanon says Israel continued strikes with casualties. And Nepal defeats Malaysia by 167 runs in Asian Games qualifier. Kushal Burthel's 126 leads in Nepal to semi-finals as group lead. Hello there, I'm Smita Gising Tamang. Welcome to NTV World News Hour. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. The news in detail. A new survey in Nepal's Madhya province has found that nearly 16% of children are malnourished. The Health Directorate assessed 283,308 children across 133 local levels in the province. Of those, 35,883 children were found to be malnourished and 8,771 were in an early stage of malnutrition, while 233,182 were in a normal state of nutrition. In total, 44,654 children are affected, accounting for 15.76% of the assessed children, a level considered critical under World Health Organization standards. Chief Minister Krishna Prasad Yadav said malnutrition has become a serious challenge in the province, linked to poverty, lack of education, limited awareness on nutrition, poor hygiene, and an imbalanced diet. Health officials say the high rate is a worrying situation for the province. Temperatures have risen sharply across Nepal in recent days, with rainfall becoming sporadic and heat conditions intensifying in several regions. According to the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, the average temperature, which was below 37 degrees 2 days ago, has now climbed to around 41 degrees. Meteorologist Saroj Purasaini said temperatures are gradually increasing, with the possibility of hotter days in the plains of Madhya, Koshi, Bagmati and Gandaki provinces. Officials say a partial influence of a low-pressure system and local winds is currently affecting western Nepal. A bulletin from the department said weather in the hilly and mountainous regions will remain generally cloudy, while the Tarai will see partly cloudy conditions. The Hydrology and Meteorology Department has described the ongoing conditions as hot days due to extreme temperatures across several regions of Nepal. With rising heat levels, farmers working in fields have reported adverse health impacts, saying the high temperatures are affecting their ability to work safely outdoors. Rashtriya Swatantra Party RSP President Rabi Lamichhane has said his visit to India is centered on Nepal's development and prosperity rather than personal or party interests. Speaking at an event in New Delhi, Lamichhane said his objective was to create an environment for dialogue and cooperation aimed at advancing Nepal towards a new phase of economic growth. Lamichhane noted that while Nepal has long aspired to prosperity, it has not achieved expected progress, adding that regional cooperation and knowledge sharing are now essential to accelerate development. He said his engagements in India are intended to strengthen diplomatic and institutional dialogue to build a shared foundation for economic progress, stressing that the visit is not driven by personal or political gain. Acknowledging that the RSP-led government is still in its early phase, he said there is much work ahead and reiterated a commitment to move away from patronage-based politics towards results-oriented governance. Meanwhile, Nepal's Foreign Minister Shishir Khanal is paying an official visit to India from June 5 to 7 at the invitation of Minister of External Affairs of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar. The Foreign Ministry issued a press note today informing that the Foreign Minister during the visit will hold a formal meeting with Minister of External Affairs of India, Dr. Jaishankar, in New Delhi. The two sides will discuss issues of mutual interest with a view to enhancing cooperation across key areas including trade, investment, connectivity, energy and people-to-people ties. As part of regular exchange of high-level visits, this visit is expected to consolidate the enduring and multifaceted bilateral relations between Nepal and India. The minister is scheduled to return home on June 7. Across Nepal, events were held today to mark the National Day for the Elimination of Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability. The National Dalit Commission has called for stronger mobilization of state institutions to ensure access to justice for the Dalit community. It says that despite Nepal being declared an untouchability-free nation more than 15 years ago, discrimination continues to persist in practice, with rising complaints and cases reported even in urban areas. The Commission highlights that many incidents never reach the legal system, reflecting weak enforcement and continued barriers to justice. While awareness and reporting have improved, officials say discriminatory attitudes, social prejudice and institutional challenges continue to slow meaningful change on the ground. And in international, we have Israel and Lebanon have agreed to renew a fragile ceasefire and establish pilot security zones inside Lebanon, where Hezbollah operatives would be banned. The announcement was made by the U.S. State Department following a round of U.S.-mediated talks involving Israel and Lebanon. A joint statement said the agreement is contingent on a complete cessation of attacks by Hezbollah and other conditions. The three sides also rejected any attempt by state or non-state actors to hold Lebanon's future hostage. The deal comes after Israeli strikes killed at least 9 people in southern Lebanon, while Hezbollah fired rockets into northern Israel. Lebanese state media reported continued Israeli strikes in the south on Thursday, with casualties reported in at least one incident. Nepal secured a commanding 167-run victory over Malaysia in its second Asian Games qualifying match, advancing to the semi-finals as Group A winners. Batting first after losing the toss, Nepal posted a massive 275 runs at the loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. Opener Kushal Burthel starred with a brilliant 126 off 54 balls, smashing 14 fours and 8 sixes. Burthel and Arif Sheikh put together a dominant 134-run opening stand, with Sheikh contributing a quick-fire 68 off 24 balls. Burthel's innings marked his second consecutive T20 international century, making him the first Nepali player to achieve the milestone. In reply, Malaysia were restricted to 108 runs at the loss of 9 wickets in their 20 overs. Sher Mullah led Nepal's bowling attack with 3 wickets as Nepal sealed another dominant win following their earlier 221-run victory over China. A severe heat wave is sweeping across Nepal's Tarai Madhes region, with temperatures nearing 40 degrees Celsius and affecting thousands of people. Farmers, laborers and vulnerable communities are facing growing health risks as authorities issue warnings and urge precautions. More on this in our segment Issue of the Day after the short break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour, and now we turn to our issue of the day. Rising temperatures across the Tarai Madhesh region have triggered a heat wave alert, disrupting daily life and agricultural work. Authorities have urged farmers and laborers to take precautions as the mercury climbs up to 40 degrees Celsius, increasing the risk of heat-related health problems. Diksha Avasti with district correspondent Guru Prasad Gautam brings more.
Recently, due to rising heat in the Tarai Madhesh region, workers have been facing difficulties in carrying out agricultural and manual labor. Farmers and laborers have been advised to take necessary precautions. Since the past 3 days, extreme heat has been experienced across most parts of the Tarai. The daily temperature has been increasing by around 1 degree Celsius each day, while 3 days ago, the maximum temperature was around 36 degrees Celsius. Today, it has reached up to 40 degrees Celsius. According to a public notice issued by the Hydrology and Meteorology Department, this level of heat is referred to as a heat wave condition. The high temperature has negatively affected the health of farmers working in the fields. Laborers have reported difficulties working under direct sunlight and in midday heat.
मा पानी लाउनलाई गाह्रो भइरहेको छ खेती किसानले बडा गाह्रो छ बहुत अब दिउँसोको काम गर्न सकिदैन अहिले 9 बजेसम्म हो अब मकै हटाएर धान रोप्नी पानी कुरोमा पानी छैन आकाशबाट पानी परेको छैन
एकदम अत्याधिक मात्रामा गर्मी बढेको सँगसँगै बिहान छाला पोल्ने कमजोरीको महसुस हुने एकदम धेरै गाह्रो फिल्ड भइरहेछ सजिलो का हुने त गाह्रो हुन्छ नि त बानी बसिसक्यो ले चाहिँ अब गरी खाने मान्छे है पेट पाल्नलाई त अब घर बसी त हुँदैन.
The Krisi Technical Section of Nijgarh Municipality has advised farmers to avoid working in the fields during midday, drink enough water, avoid staying long in the fields, and use protective measures such as umbrellas or hats.
अहिले यो गर्मीको मौसम एकदम ज्यादा बढ्दै गइरहेको छ. यसपालि अब मौसम विभागले पनि पानी कम पर्ने भन्ने जानकारी गराइरहेको छ. त्यसैले बिउको धानको बिउ प्रयोग गर्दाखेरि पनि कम पानी लाग्ने जातहरुको प्रयोग गर्नु होला.
The primary health center in Nijgarh, through health officer Dr. Dipendra Prasad Yadav, has also advised people to drink plenty of water during high heat, avoid going out unnecessarily, and stay in shaded or cool places as much as possible.
डिग्री बढेको छ बिरामीहरु डायरिया भमिटिङ प्रेसरहरु यदि एंजाइटी हुने मान्छेहरुलाई धेरै गर्मी भएर त्यो बिरामी राखिराख्नु पर्छ त्यसै पानी पटक खाइराख्नु पर्छ किनभने डिहाइड्रेसन एकदम हुन्छ त्यसपछि फलफुल खान मिल्यो झोलपात रम्न खाने त्यसपछि अब शीतल ठाउँमा बस्नु पर्यो दिउँसो हिँड्नु नगर्ने हैन दिउँसोको टाइममा ब्रेक लिने.
Dr. Yadav further warned that there is a high possibility of heat-related illnesses during this period and urged farmers and workers to remain cautious while carrying out any agricultural or labor-intensive work.
And that wraps up our issue of the day. For our cover story tonight, despite constitutional guarantees and decades of legal reforms, caste-based discrimination continues to affect the lives of many Dalits across Nepal. On the National Day for the Elimination of Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability, concerns are growing over the persistence of exclusion, injustice and social prejudice. We will explore why discrimination remains deeply rooted and what more needs to be done to achieve meaningful change at the other side of this break. And now our cover story of the day. On the National Day for the Elimination of Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability, the National Dalit Commission has urged stronger mobilization of state mechanisms to ensure justice for the Dalit community. The Commission noted that despite Nepal being declared untouchability-free over 15 years ago, caste-based discrimination cases continue to rise, even affecting students in the capital. Sabika Shrestha takes a look.
Across Nepal, Various programs was held on Thursday to mark the National Day for Elimination of Caste-Based Discrimination and Untouchability. More than 15 years have passed since Nepal was declared an untouchability-free nation. To commemorate the declaration and to raise awareness, each year on Jyeshta 21 of the Nepali calendar, various programs are organized and commitments to equality and human rights are reiterated. Yet, the question remains, have these efforts brought meaningful change to the lives of the Dalit community? On the positive side, legal awareness has increased. More victims are seeking justice through the Commission, police, and courts, while media and social media have helped expose incidents of discrimination. Public discussion on Dalit rights has also expanded. However, change in practice remains slow. Discriminatory attitudes, social prejudice, political protection, and lengthy judicial processes continue to hinder across to justice.
म टिचर भएर जहाँ जुन स्कुलमा पढाउँथेँ त्यहाँ जाँदाखेरि 10-15 दिन चाहिँ मलाई नमस्कार गरे, तर त्यसपछि चाहिँ विद्यार्थीहरूले नमस्कार गर्न छोडे। किन रहेछ त भनेर पछि बुझ्दाखेरि म दलित भएको कारण उच्च जातिका चाहिँ विद्यार्थीहरूलाई मलाई नमस्कार चाहिँ गर्ने रहन्छन्, त्यो कुरो मैले पछि थाहा पाएँ। त्यस्तै पसलहरुमा चिया खाएपछि हामीले गिलास पखाल्नु पर्थ्यो, खाना खाएपछि भाँडा माझ्नु पर्थ्यो। त्यो तर त्यो हदसम्मको चाहिँ छुवाछुत अहिले छैन समाजमा।
The belief that caste discrimination exists only in rural areas is increasingly being challenged. Dalit students in Kathmandu report facing rejection while searching for rental accommodation because of their caste identity. Even today, some students are compelled to hide their real surnames. The persistence of such conditions, even in an educated and supposedly modern city, clearly shows that the problem of untouchability cannot be ended merely by enacting laws. Because of discriminatory mindsets, social prejudice, political protection, and the complexity of judicial procedures, victims have not been able to obtain justice in a timely manner.
गाउँ घरमा स्कुल पढ्दै गर्दाखेरि कति अन्याय हुन्छ, कति अत्याचार हुन्थ्यो। हामी एउटै धारामा पानी खान पाउँदैनथ्यौं हामीले, अथवा एउटै धारामा पानी खाने अवस्था भए पनि पहिले उनलाई खान दिएर पछि लास्टतिर मात्रै उनीहरु सबै विद्यार्थीहरुले पानी खाइसकेपछि लास्टतिर मात्रै खान पाउने हुन्थ्यो, तर अहिले त्यो स्थिति छैन।
This year, the National Dalit Commission has adopted the slogan, effective mobilization of state structures for access to justice for the Dalit community. According to the Commission, complaints increased from 36 in 2020 to 21, 64 in 2024 to 25. Of the 64 cases, 36 were related to caste-based discrimination, untouchability, verbal abuse, and physical assault. Madhya Province recorded the highest number of complaints with 27 cases. Stakeholders say these figures represent only a fraction of actual incidents, as many cases are settled or suppressed within communities. While observance of the day has helped raise awareness and encourage victims to speak out, the expected change on the ground remains limited. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Pradyumna Dungel reporting for NTV World.
Speaker of the Nepal's House of Representatives, Dol Prasad Aryal, has said that the federal parliament remains committed to the effective implementation of the rights of the Dalit community as guaranteed under Article 40 of the Constitution. The House Speaker was speaking at a program organized in Lalitpur on the occasion of the National Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination and Untouchability.
निकायको जिम्मेवारी मात्र होइन, यो राज्य, राजनीतिक दल, नागरिक समाज, सञ्चार क्षेत्र, शैक्षिक संस्था तथा सम्पूर्ण नेपाली हामी सबैको समाजको साझा दायित्व हो। त्यसैले समाजको हरेक तह र वर्ग मिलेर नै यो विकृति विरुद्धको अभियानलाई सफल बनाउन सकिन्छ। एकता नै हाम्रो शक्ति हो।
Also speaking on the same occasion, Minister for Women, Children, Gender and Sexual Minorities and Social Security, Sita Badi, has said that caste-based untouchability and discrimination are obstacles to a democratic and advanced society. Addressing the program, Minister Badi clarified that the contribution of the Dalit community to Nepal's democratic movement has been significant.
समाजमा यस्तो विभेद र हिंसाको अन्त्य हुन सकेको छैन प्रत्यक्ष रूपमा हुने विभेदको स्वरूप फेरिएको छ अप्रत्यक्ष रूपमा दलितमाथि हुने विभेद र हिंसा भइरहेको छ र भौतिक रूपमा हुने विभेद डिजिटल स्पेसमा पुगेको छ यस्ता विभेद र हिंसाका अन्त्यका लागि एकातिर राज्यको सबै निकायलाई जिम्मेवारी र जवाफदेही बनाउन आवश्यक छ र अर्कोतर्फ उपलब्ध यी कानुन र नीतिमा संशोधन वा परिमार्जन गर्न जरुरी छ.
And today we asked people in the federal capital Kathmandu what further reforms are needed to end discrimination based on caste. Let's have a look at what they say in our Public Pulse segment.
सबैभन्दा पहिला त हाम्रो मानसिक चेतनाको कमी छ त्यसलाई सुधार गर्न जरुरी छ हामी मानिस सबै एउटै हो काटे रगत सबैको रातो नै आउँछ सबैभन्दा मलाई त लाग्छ मान्छेको मानसिकता परिवर्तन गर्न जरुरी छ लाग्छ
सबैभन्दा पहिला त मानिसहरू शिक्षित हुनु पर्यो अनि हाम्रो सोचहरू छ नि यो त्यो बदल्नु पर्यो
अब जातीय भेदभावको लागि अब कसैलाई पनि के रे छुवाछुतको गर्नु भएन है सबै एउटै ईश्वरको एउटै सन्तान हो है सबैको काट्यो भने सबैको रगत आउँछ अब हामी यही ठाउँमा हावा लिन्छौँ यही ठाउँमा यही उको वातावरण सबै बराबरै हुनुपर्छ मेरो लागि चाहिँ
जात भनेर हामीले त्यस्तो हेप्नु हुँदैन क्या नानी अब सानो ठुलो हामी रगत मासु एउटै हो हामी सबै राम्रै हो के नानी
जातीय भेदभाव भन्ने कुरो यो अटोमेटिक अन्त्य पनि गर्न जस्तो जमानाअनुसार जमाना परिवर्तन हुन्छ पहिला जमानादेखि थियो त्यो त्यति बेलाको अवस्था त्यस्तै थियो अहिले युग परिवर्तन भयो मान्छे परिवर्तन भयो जमाना परिवर्तन त्यही जातीय भेदभाव समातेर बसिरहनु उचित होइन यसलाई चाहिँ अन्त्य हुनुपर्छ हाम्रो भनाइ पनि त्यही हो हाम्रो माग पनि त्यही हो मानिस सबै मानव एउटै हो होइन अब कुनै मान्ने मान्छे धर्म चाहिँ आफ्नो किसिमले अलग अलग धर्म मान्छ होला
जात भेदभाव नभएको राम्रो सबैजनाले एउटै हुनु पर्यो एकजुट हुनु पर्यो जात छुटाउने त्यस्तो गर्नु भएन
एउटा धार्मिक कुरो हो के परम्परागत भइआएको कुरो हो यो तुरुन्तै कानुन बन्न बित्तिकै हट्दैन यो बिस्तारै बिस्तारै युगान्तकारी युग परिवर्तन हुँदै जान्छ
अब काटे रगत एउटै हो नि त मलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ अब खोइ अब यो समाजहरूले के गर्नु खोजेको मलाई
That concludes our cover story of the day. Let's now continue with the remaining updates. A government task force in Nepal has begun consultations with senior political leaders as it prepares a discussion paper on possible constitutional amendments. The panel, led by Prime Minister Balendra Shah's political advisor Ashim Shah, separately met former Presidents Ram Baran Yadav and Vidya Devi Bhandari, both of whom stressed the need for broad national consensus before any changes are made to the constitution. Yadav urged the task force to safeguard the political achievements secured through decades of democratic struggle, while Bhandari emphasized that the constitution itself is a product of political compromise and should only be amended through inclusive dialogue. The task force has also started consultations with former prime ministers as part of a wider effort to gather views on the future of Nepal's federal democratic framework. Kathmandu has hosted the Himalayan Literature Festival and Writers' Workshop, bringing together writers, poets, translators, filmmakers and scholars from Nepal and abroad to discuss literature in the age of artificial intelligence and digital transformation. The event features sessions on poetry, creative writing, women's literature, indigenous narratives, and the impact of technology on storytelling, with organizers aiming to promote Nepal as a hub for literary and cultural exchange. Speaking at the program, Information and Communication Minister Dr. Bikram Thimalsana said literature remains a powerful medium for human reflection even in a technology-driven world. The Himalayan Literature Festival and Writers' Workshop, aimed at promoting Nepali literature internationally and strengthening multilingual and multicultural exchange, will conclude tomorrow.
World order, we often think of geopolitics, economics, technology, and shifting centers of power. Yet, beneath these global transformations are millions of individuals seeking meaning, dignity, belonging, peace, and hope.
A Nepali climbing guide who went missing on Mount Everest for 6 days and was presumed dead has been found alive after crawling close to base camp, officials say. Tawa Sherpa, a veteran mountaineer in his 50s known as Hilary, disappeared on May 30 in harsh conditions on the world's highest peak. He was discovered on Thursday morning near base camp by a search team from the Sagarmatha Pollution Control Committee and later airlifted to Kathmandu. Doctors at Hams Hospital say he is conscious and being treated for frostbite, cold injuries and dehydration. His family said they had begun last rites prayers after losing hope and described shock and relief after receiving confirmation he was alive. Rescue officials say his survival in extreme high altitude conditions is being seen as extraordinary. Government employees and senior officials across Nepal are rushing to collect financial and property documents as the deadline to submit asset declarations approaches. With the cut-off deadline almost 10 days away, offices including the Employees Provident Fund, banks and financial institutions, tax offices and land revenue departments have seen sharp rise in visitors seeking bank statements, loan records, tax certificates and property ownership documents. Officials say both serving and retired public servants are under pressure to compile detailed disclosures of income, investments, liabilities and assets, including savings, shares, real estate and provident and investment fund records. Many complain that gathering decades-old documentation has proven difficult due to incomplete archives. Authorities have deployed additional staff and expanded online services to manage the surge in applications as institutions attempt to process verification requests within the limited time. The asset declaration drive comes under a commission-led review process, which warns that failure to submit accurate information within the deadline could lead to legal action. In Baglung district of Western Nepal, a long-standing problem of monkey menace has been addressed through lemon farming. In Sahela Fat of Baglung municipality, 12 farmers under the Chaso Farmers Group have turned barren land into productive fields through collective lemon cultivation, effectively ending crop damage caused by monkeys. Around 4,000 lemon saplings have been planted in the area, with production already beginning. The group, consisting of 52 shareholders, has expanded cultivation to about 223 ropanese land. Farmers say that since lemon plants have thorns, monkeys do not damage the crops and no additional control measures are needed. The project, which has seen an investment of over 10 million rupees, is expected to generate strong income in the coming years. International news lined up next, but before that, a quick recap of the headlines. Malnutrition crisis among children in Nepal's Madhya province. Officials warn situation is critical under WHO standards. Heat wave grips Nepal as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Weather department warns of continued hot days across the Ryan Plains. RSP president says India visit focused on development diplomacy. Nepal's foreign minister Kanal bound to New Delhi for key bilateral talks. Caste discrimination still persistent in Nepal despite strong law. Commission urges stronger state action as complaints arise and justice gaps remain wide. Israel and Lebanon agree to renew fragile ceasefire with new security arrangements. Lebanon says Israel continues strikes with casualties. And Nepal defeats Malaysia by 167 runs in Asian Games qualifier. Kushal Burthel's 126 leads Nepal to semi-finals as group leader. A fire at an illegally operated care home in Sri Lanka has killed 12 residents and injured 6 others, officials say. Police said the owner of the Maupia Siwana care home was remanded in custody until June 11 as investigations into Wednesday's blaze continue. Authorities told a magisterial inquiry that the facility was not authorized to operate and failed to meet basic regulatory standards for elderly care. Officials said 11 residents died in the fire, while a 12th victim later succumbed to severe burn injuries in the hospital. 6 others are being treated for smoke inhalation. Forensic teams continued examining the wreckage on Thursday, where multiple charred bodies were recovered from the single-story building. Rescue officials said dozens of residents and staff were evacuated and moved to a nearby government school for safety. Iran's supreme leader has accused the United States and Israel of attempting to sow division inside the country following what he described as a decisive blow during the recent Middle East war. In a written message, Mustafa Khamenei said the malicious enemy was trying to spread doubt, despair, fear, mistrust and division among Iranians. He urged unity and cohesion, saying such efforts must be neutralized through national steadfastness and insight. The message was read at a ceremony marking the anniversary of the death of Iran's revolutionary founder, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, held at his mausoleum in Tehran. Ali Khamenei, who succeeded Khomeini in 1989, was killed during U.S. and Israeli attacks in February that triggered a regional war, according to officials. The conflict later paused under a ceasefire in April, though diplomatic efforts to secure a lasting agreement have so far failed. Mustafa Khamenei has largely stayed out of public view since his election as supreme leader in March, issuing only written statements. The U.S. House has passed a measure to limit President Trump's military action in Iran. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a measure aimed at blocking President Donald Trump from taking further military action in Iran. The resolution passed by a narrow 215-208 vote, with 4 Republicans joining Democrats in support. It seeks to require the withdrawal of U.S. forces or force the administration to seek congressional approval for continued operations. The vote is largely symbolic and its legal impact remains unclear. The White House has dismissed it as an unconstitutional attempt to restrict presidential authority. The measure comes amid rising fuel prices and growing public opposition to the ongoing war, which began in February following U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran and retaliatory attacks in the region. It marks the 4th attempt by the House to limit Trump's war powers, while a similar resolution has advanced in the Senate but is yet to face a full vote. The World Health Organization says it is closely monitoring Ebola outbreaks and response efforts in affected regions as health authorities work to contain transmission and strengthen surveillance systems. The agency has emphasized a rapid detection, isolation of cases, and community awareness as key measures to prevent further spread. Health teams in affected areas also coordinating vaccination drives and contact tracing operations to limit new infections. WHO officials say sustained preparedness and international cooperation remain critical to controlling future outbreaks. They also warn that gaps in health systems could increase the risk of wider regional spread if not addressed quickly. Turkish authorities have arrested 32 Afghan migrants found hiding in specially designed compartments of a waste tanker in southeastern Turkey. The operation took place in Diyarbakir and also led to the arrest of 5 suspected members of a human trafficking network, according to local reports. 4 suspects have been remanded in the custody, while 1 has been placed under house arrest. Migrants were taken for medical checks before being transferred to a repatriation center as authorities continue efforts to curb illegal migration. Police say investigations are ongoing to dismantle wider trafficking routes operating through the region. Bolivia is facing a worsening political and humanitarian crisis as weeks of protests and road blockades disrupt supply chains and trigger shortages of food, fuel and medicine. Major cities including La Paz and El Alto are experiencing long queues and rationing of essential goods, with markets operating at limited capacity. Roadblocks across key transport routes have restricted the flow of supplies, pushing prices higher and deepening public frustration. Authorities have called for dialogue, but unrest continues as economic pressures mount across the country. The government is under growing pressure to restore stability as shortages worsen nationwide. And next we have business news, but before that, let's take a short break.
Venezuela's acting president Delcy Rodriguez has arrived in New Delhi on a 5-day visit aimed at strengthening energy and trade cooperation with India. She is expected to hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as India increases crude oil imports from Venezuela to diversify supplies amid global disruptions. Officials say discussions will focus on energy, investment, pharmaceuticals, and technology partnerships between the two countries. India has recently expanded Venezuelan oil purchases, making it one of Caracas's key crude buyers. Rodriguez's visit highlights growing energy ties between the two nations as both sides seek to deepen economic cooperation. SpaceX, the rocket and satellite company led by Elon Musk, is preparing for a record-breaking initial public offering, that is IPO, that could value the firm at around $1.75 trillion, according to regulatory filings and reports. The company plans to sell about 555 million shares at an expected price of $135 each, aiming to raise roughly $75 billion, making it the largest IPO in history if completed. Unlike most listings, SpaceX has disclosed its price range unusually early, ahead of its expected market debut later this month on the Nasdaq. Analysts say the listing could significantly reshape global capital markets, while Musk's large ownership stake of around 70 to 80% could make him one of the wealthiest individuals in the world, though outcomes depend on final pricing and trading performance. Australia is moving forward with controversial draft legislation that would force major tech companies to pay local media outlets for news content shared on their platforms. The proposed law targets companies like Meta, Google, and TikTok, requiring them to negotiate deals with publishers or face a compulsory levy of up to 2.5% of their Australian revenue. Meta has strongly rejected the plan, calling it grossly unfair, economically incoherent, and discriminatory. Australian officials argue the policy is needed because social media platforms benefit from news content that drives traffic and advertising revenue, while traditional newsrooms struggle to survive. The draft law is expected to be introduced in Parliament later this year, reigniting a global debate over how big tech should compensate journalism in the digital age.
And now the sports update. Nepal have secured a place in the quarterfinals of the ACC Women's Premier Cup in Malaysia after registering their second consecutive victory in Group D. On Thursday, Nepal defeated Bhutan by 51 runs, continuing their strong start to the tournament. Chasing a target of 114, Bhutan were restricted to 62 for 8 in 20 overs. Dechen Wangmo top scored with 39 runs, while Chado Om was the only other batter in double figures with 11. Nepal's bowling attack proved decisive. Rubina Chetri picked up 3 wickets while Riya Sharma took 2. Kavita Kumar and Manisha Upadhyay chipped in with 1 wicket each. Earlier, after being asked to bat first, Nepal were bowled out for 113 in 19.5 hours. Sita Rana Magar top scored with 37, followed by Rubina Chetri with 24. With this win, Nepal remained unbeaten in Group A and advanced to the quarterfinals with 1 match still to play. Construction work on the Gautam Buddha International Cricket Stadium in Bharatpur Chitwan has resumed after being halted for a month. The construction company had suspended work citing delayed payments due to a lack of budget release from the Bagmati provincial government. Bharatpur Metropolitan City said the project restarted after the provincial government released 90 million rupees. The stadium, which is 55% complete, is scheduled for completion by mid-January, but the deadline remains uncertain as per the contract terms. The project was awarded for 7.55 billion rupees, which is approximately $56.5 million US, with a completion target set for January 2026. Earlier, the Durma Suntali Foundation had been unable to complete the construction, after which the Metropolitan City re-awarded the contract through bidding. Preparations are in full swing as Japan's national football team trains in Mexico ahead of the FIFA World Cup set to kick off next week. The tournament will feature 32 teams competing for the title. Japan's camp faced a brief disruption due to poor pitch conditions, but the squad still completed training in over 30 degrees Celsius heat. The 26-member Samurai Blue appeared relaxed during a 1-hour session. Midfielder Kamada Daichi, the final player to join the squad, is focused on Japan's opening match against the Netherlands on June 15. Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories. Malnutrition crisis among children in Nepal's Madhya province. Officials warn the situation is critical under WHO standards. Heat wave grips Nepal as temperatures soar above 40 degrees Celsius. Weather department warns of continued hot days across the Rhine Plains. RSP president says India visit focused on development diplomacy. Nepal's foreign minister Kanal bound to New Delhi for key bilateral talks. Caste discrimination still persistent in Nepal despite strong law. Commission urges stronger state action as complaints rise and justice gaps remain wide. Israel and Lebanon agreed to renew fragile ceasefire with new security arrangements. Lebanon says Israel continued strikes with casualties. And Nepal defeats Malaysia by 167 runs in Asian Games qualifier. Kushal Burfel's 126 leads Nepal to semi-finals as group leader. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. This is me, Smituki Singh Tamang, signing off. Thank you for staying with us. Good night.